Yeah. Hello.
Yo. Hi. As we can start with this, Ratyu is a Japanese runner, best in the game. This is ASTRAL Chain. He's not going to be commentating for himself. We'll be doing the work. I'm Herrete. You can pronounce it however you want. I don't really care. And with me is...
Hi, I'm Kap. I'm also been a long time runner of the game. I was, and so both of us are here to commentate Raitu's Astral Chain run. Astral Chain definitely is a very interesting game. I'm very excited that it finally made its way to AGDQ because I think it's definitely one of the most interesting runs of the repertoire of games that I run. I think there's a lot that the game has to offer to showcase.
Yes. It's Switch exclusive from Platinum Games. You may know them from Bayonetta, from Metal Gear Rising, and other quirky games like Wonderful 101. Love that one. And this one is now kind of a Nintendo property, so maybe at some point after the fake out we had on Bayonetta 3, maybe we'll have more of that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Astral Chain definitely, if we had to put it in a genre, it definitely is like a hack and slash, but it is very different in terms of, compared to, say like a hack and slash like Devil May Cry. I think it definitely plays very different. And I think even more than that, like what the speedrun values, I think is very different, compared to other hack and slashes where like you really are optimizing combat. In Astral Chain, you're optimizing combat, but there's also a lot of movement. There's also a lot of skips, which is going to be really fun to show the viewers. I think there's like a lot of, there's a lot of optimizations of like menuing and movement and stuff that you don't see in every hack and slash either. Oh, yeah. All right, so yeah, so we're gonna start the run in a brief moment.
We're on the anime opening, apparently.
Yes, you got the Astral Chain soundtrack is quite good. So I think he
just wants to showcase this because we won't see it in the actual run.
We should. I'll make sure that we're starting the run for sure.
I mean, I think it's fine. There's a nice little banger. Shout out to Savior.
Yes, for sure. Yes. Yeah. Honestly, in terms of style and showcase, Astral Chain definitely has a lot to offer. I'm gonna make sure that he just want to show that. I let him know that we need to get the run moving though. Yes. But it's all good. Thank you for your patience, everyone.
Everything's fine. We're not gonna start on file select though.
Sorry.
We need to create character.
Yes. I misspoke. Yeah. So I say quote unquote file select, but that's not really true. What we actually do is Astral Chain allows for this fun little thing where you can customize what your character looks like. And so we let you do it after character customization selection. So that's very nice. He might just go for the default here.
And
Three,
get ready for
two,
yeah, should we count down?
go.
Yeah,
there we
time
go.
starts now. Yep, time starts now. Yep, start the timer.
Doctor, we've just received reports from
So he's just going for the default character, but you can really let the character look like however you like, which is nice because that means every run can theoretically look different in terms of the character that you're playing. So that's a little bit of individuality that we like to throw into the run.
Let's consider this.
And that's a very important choice in this character creation. As you can see, Ratyu chose the male character. You can choose the female one. And then these are supposedly twins. The other twin is named Akira. Your player character, we just call them Akira as well. It doesn't really have a real name, as far as I know.
Yeah.
Whatever twin we choose, we play as. And then the other one is going to take part of the story. And this is pretty important because there's going to be quite a few places where we have to wait for dialogue. And if you choose male, then your female rival, let's call it that, whatever, the twin,
Yes.
is gonna talk. And she actually talks about 14 seconds faster throughout the run compared to the male one. So in world record contention, you want to play as male, but doesn't that just mean that female is the faster character if she talks faster?
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit of irony. So, because you are a nameless, voiceless protagonist, because the woman voice actor talks faster, you want to be the guy because you want to have her be the one talking, just so that the dialogue moves a little bit faster. Because Platinum Games loves to do some of these scenes where certain moments are dialogue limited. So you have to complete an objective, but if you complete it too fast, you just have to wait for the dialogue to end before you can advance. And as Herret said, there's going to be several of those moments.
Also, worth noting voice acting. If you have a choice between Japanese and English, Japanese is much slower. I don't know the exact number, we just know it is.
It definitely is very strange that they made the Japanese much slower than the English. I wonder if the devs timed it out. In the meantime, this is a little bit, Platinum Games always loves putting an auto-scroller right in the beginning of the run, so this is what Ratyu is currently doing. So, it's not quite an auto-scroller, there's a little bit of optimization on the gun firing at the end of this, which he's gonna do right here. So, you have to kill a certain number of these on the truck, but you want to time how quickly you're killing them so that once the credits to the left of him are done, that you finish shooting in time, and you can save about 2-3 seconds that way, just by being optimal in how you kill them there. So that was pretty good.
Yep. Just a story introduction, by the way. We're riding to a scene of a disaster as police officers in the future, in the arc where humanity is taking refuge from invaders of another dimension. Pretty anime plotline. Either way, here we are, and we have to first save a few survivors from this disaster, and then we can start fighting stuff. This is gonna be what we call a blue case. There's two types of main missions. Blue cases are just usually do this and that's it, like scoring this and German. And then red cases are the ones that are actually graded, not in casual, the field we were playing, but still. And those are usually combat.
So interesting. So when he ran up to this thing, you noticed that he did a slide. You know, really early movement in this speedrun is limited because you can't yet use your Legion for movement. We'll definitely be talking about that later. But a slide is a nice burst of speed, but there's a little bit of end lag to it. So it's not faster to spam slide, but it is better to slide into objectives. So you see that he's doing actually those leaps. Those tumbles, those are faster than sliding.
First slide, by the way, we have two attack modes. One is the baton for close combat and stronger hits, and then we have a gun for farther reach but less attack. Usually what we want to do here, since options are still very limited, is you do a 3-hit combo with the baton, then change to gun, and that resets the combo so you can continue using it. This fight is essentially RNG, depending on how much the enemies decide to help you. And the police officers that are helping us can't actually kill any enemies, but they can reduce them to 1 HP. So if you get lucky, they can focus on one, and then you kill it at the end.
This is, by the way, a very good fight. I just want to say that this is excellent in terms of how well the police do. In general, that was actually somewhat good. But yeah, so to build on what Herret's saying, the four baton hit combo adds a lot of end lag. And so the importance of resetting the combo comes from avoiding this end lag at the end of the combo string. And so by cutting it short, you basically reduce a lot of end lag and make it really fast. You know,
here's the first dialogue part, by the way.
Yeah. So basically, yeah.
You're fighting an invisible enemy, Chimera. We'll see it in a little bit once we get introduced to the Legion, the main gimmick of this game. For this part, thankfully, if you just look at the sky, can't see them, can't hurt me. So yeah, just waste the time like this.
Yeah, it is pretty funny. You can do a lot of fun camera stuff during dialogue in this speed game. But then, so a cutscene now plays, and now you have your Legion to fight. So earlier we were just fighting with our character, but the Legion is basically what you're seeing now. So the main part of Astral Chain is you basically do combat with yourself, as you saw earlier, but also with this super powerful dimensional beast that is chained to you, hence Astral Chain. So that is actually what you're looking at right now. And so he's doing combat with this Legion. And optimizing the combat with this Legion is basically the large crux of, you know, the complexity of the speedrun.
Right now we are very limited on options with that. As you can see, we can use the chain to circle enemies and they became chained, binded as we call it. And you can also send the Legion for a quick 2-hit combo, or just let it attack on its own, which is usually better, but also relies on whatever they decide to do. And this part, we have to wait for more dialogue, as Jean and Alicia. I'm just gonna talk.
Yeah. So, but basically, Akira, what I was gonna say is Akira, the teammate here, it works the same as every other AI helper in this game, where they can reduce the enemy HP to 1, but they can't actually kill it. So what you're doing is you're actually having Akira reduce the enemy HP down to 1, and then you can quickly kill them at the timing threshold, which is a very clever exploit.
Here's the final dialogue. We are going to the boss of this file number 1 of 11 that we'll see during the run, which is basically just a bigger version of whatever we were fighting. Except he has a shield, so what we want to do is attack from behind for extra damage and avoid the shield.
So you'll notice that the damage numbers, sometimes they'll be white and sometimes they'll be yellow, but what you want is the yellow refers to backstab damage. So that actually the damage buff that you're getting from attacking the enemy from behind. So now he's attacking him from the front because Lias keeps moving. But that was a very fast fight though. Wow. But Lias kept moving, so he was keeping trying to get behind him. But sometimes Lias can move and make that backstab damage really hard. A lot of this game though also is understanding the Legion AI, and a lot of his positioning was good to make the Legion do these very powerful swings, which was a large part of the you know, like the optimization on that fight. So basically now we're
Turn 1 you just avoid some cars as they fall down and they get saved by the Legion, and we can go into file 2 with the anime opening that we were watching earlier. We said we're gonna just go through it.
Yes, so normally a little bit of the anime opening that we saw earlier, that plays right here, but of course we're skipping that to move to file 1. But you gotta love that. So file 2 is really good because it's where there's going to be a little bit more fighting, a little bit more bosses. You get to see a little bit more optimization in terms of item usage, drinking, menuing, which is very, very good. And I think, you know, some of the fun in this game. Your options are still limited, but as you play through the game, you unlock more things that you can do with your Legion, which then further, you know, changes what we can do and what we can exploit in this game.
And this first part of file 2 is going to be the introduction to Neuron, which is the special police force we're getting put on right now as a Legion. Legiones, I think that's the pronunciation.
Yeah, Legiones, that's right. Yeah. So if you have
it has a very banging soundtrack for the HQ, and they want us to explore it as we meet the team. Mainly, this is our dad and Alicia. Adopt is that. I should probably.
Max and Alicia. Yeah. I have to completely agree with Harry here. By the way, you know, you can say what you want about Astral Chain. You know, whether you like it, you can hate it, whatever. But the soundtrack, it is a banger. The HQ soundtrack. Oh man, you can't go wrong with it. Any case, we approach Jin here. We slide into that dialogue. And basically, there's a whole bunch of tutorials that this game wants you to do. Luckily for us, the game lets you just say, I don't want to do most of it. And so we're going to walk up to this console, say, please never mind, we don't want to actually do any of these trainings, and we can kind of move on to the first mission, which is nice. But in terms of like, and what we're gonna do in a little bit though is we're gonna actually go buy some drinks. So in this game there are drinks that serve as power-ups for the game, and so a lot of this game is routing out when to use certain drinks in certain places to maximize damage, maximize efficiency and speed. So that's a large part of this run.
Yep, they are 1 minute buffs. Each one has a different effect. We're gonna buy 3 here. First one is Spicy Cover, which is 50% extra attack. Soup is 50% extra attack and some amount of energy recovery.
Yeah.
And then Megabyte Milk, which is not really useful for combat, but it gives you light super armor, which is really, really good in some particular scenarios.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically when you use your Legion, you can't use your Legion forever in combat. There's something called energy, and so what some drinks will do is they will increase your energy gain. Like Sweet Pea Soup is energy gain plus 50%, which means that you gain back Legion meter, if we want to call it meter. You gain back meter 50% faster. And so because your Legion is your main damage dealer, that's really huge. If you want to talk about the investigations, Herret, you can go right ahead.
Oh yeah. First investigations in this game basically revolve around getting clues from either NPCs or examining things. This one is super simple. Some people are getting dragged into portals by something with big hands, and that's the 2 things that we need. And now we talk to our dad. Get a quiz that we don't have to answer correctly, so it doesn't really matter, you just master it. And then you can continue trying to find the suspect for this. And during this part, very important for this fight in particular, you saw some red matter on the floor. You can grab it with your Legion, and it gives you extra energy, but most importantly, at the end of the mission, you're gonna get a bonus reward for, I think it's the percentage in particular, but if you get more red matter, you get more money, and money is gonna be very tight at the start, so it's very important.
Yeah, you'll notice in the movement up to this fight right here that he was doing a lot of really interesting and precise movement with the Legion, like as in sending it out and using it for movement, and that's really huge. This is Briareos, which considering you do not have that many attack options, is very hard to optimize, but I mean, Ratyu played it perfectly. He lured the Briareos to basically face away from him, and then he, you know, is basically fishing for these big attacks, and he basically killed it right after that cutscene, which is insanely fast. You know, I'm usually at half health by that cutscene, so the fact that he was almost done is incredible.
Here we get introduced to a lot of side quests that you can do. One in particular is gonna put the camera here. You can circle people as well to make them stop in the tracks, or maybe stop fighting like in this case. But we don't want to do that. Watch all cases if you want that. And for this section, very important, Ratyu is gonna use the Megabyte Milk, get that super armor as you can see on the top left. And this is gonna be very important for this section since you get a few cutscenes by the suspect, the one that's taking people, as you can see right here. If you don't have this super armor and you go into this, you get stopped, you get knocked down, and you have to get back up again in order to continue. It's gonna be even more obvious here. Using this particular drink, you can just run through it, no problem.
Yep, and so it's worth the time save. It's worth the time to buy the drink to avoid all that lag. This is another one where you see a lot of Legion multitasking. There's a lot of small enemies in this one. Instead of the large enemies, there's a lot of small enemies. So what you're seeing him doing, you're seeing him actually dismiss and resend the Legion out, because that basically increases its offensive capabilities. So that's what you're seeing a lot in the small enemies here. You usually chain bind the big enemies so you can get behind them, but you notice how he's bringing the Legion out and bringing it back in? He's doing that on purpose to bait out the Legion to do these very powerful attacks. So it's actually AI manipulation on the Legion's part, right? He's bringing the Legion out and he's shoving it back in. And that is to increase the Legion's probability of doing these strong moves. So it's not just letting the Legion do it for you. There's a lot of very intentional movement that is done. Coming up, we're going to be hitting a loading screen to the astral planes. So actually, this might be a good time to read any donos if there is any, because we're going to have a little bit.
Thank you. We got plenty indeed. We got a $25 donation from Sarah that says, "Keep up the great work, everyone. Let's fight cancer together." We got a $50 donation from Quantum Jump that says, "Love me some bonus games." And a quick update on that for the Harmony and Despair Zip Showcase. 3,441 out of $5,000. We need to get that by the end of this run, as Castlevania is coming up soon. We've still got time. Keep them coming in. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. In
And
the
you saw
meantime, we haven't...
Ratyu?
Yeah.
You start to do another mechanic that you can do with the chain. You can counter enemy attacks when they charge into you just by making them hit your chain as it's extended. And it's important for this fight in particular because it keeps doing it until you decide to counter it. And then you knock him down and can actually end the fight very, very cleanly. He tried to keep him in Saddles in particular at the center of the arena. That's very important because he tends to fly backwards, and if he goes into a void, it's very hard to hit him with a baton, and you lose a lot of DPS. Also, you're supposed to be unable to run here because you're being affected by the whatever energy is in this astral plane. But if you just dodge roll, you can just do it as normal. Of course, get every single piece of matter as we go into some fights.
Yeah.
Look over there.
One thing that I was also going to say about Enceladus is that, you know, I mean, it's very common in the speedrun, so it's easy to forget, but there actually is a cycle that we skip there. Like, normally Enceladus is supposed to break the stage and go down to the lower floor, but what Herret does... Oh, here you see, by the way, that he's doing a lot of dismiss and sending, so that is, again, more stuff that you can manipulate. But basically, he chain-binded Enceladus at the last minute to avoid basically losing a cycle. So he skipped an entire cycle. Nice. He got an instant chain bind. That's very good.
Yeah. There's a lot of funky stuff you can do with chain binds. I never get any single one of them, but some people are built different, like Ratyu.
Ratyu, I want to say, as someone who's been a part of the community for a long time, Ratyu is very, very, very dominant. I mean, he just has a very strong mastery of a whole bunch of mechanics in Astral Chain that are very hard to master. I mean, he has world record by a lot for this reason. You know, he is really a master of his craft, because even if you know about all the mechanics, properly executing them is very challenging, especially in a marathon setting. So it's very, very good.
So here's another waiting section. Basically, every single Legion in the team goes rogue, and we have to wait for the dialogue to just say, hey, you can recapture them, maybe. And after that, 4 hits with a baton, which is kind of annoying sometimes, and we can transition into the next fight against all of the Legions.
Yeah. So what this unlocks, though, is from this we get what's called the sync attack, which is a very big buff to the total damage that we can do. So basically, after a certain amount of damage, you can do a combo starter that is generally quite powerful. So he's choosing basically to end the combos early for these enemies just because the transitions are very big. Beast, the one you see on screen right now, is probably the most brutal, but what you see right there with all of those flashes, those are sync attacks. And now that they're unlocked, those are very powerful. Oh,
Wow,
Axe is avoiding... Oh, that was very unfortunate. Axe just decided not to get chainbound for some reason. That's quite annoying.
The chain sometimes decides to do that, just phase through enemies for no reason. It is Astral, I guess. And yeah, you fight 2 waves of this. Every single enemy twice, and then the barrier breaks and you can continue. It's important to note that we're gonna get more and more options for sync attacks right now, but the one that is gonna be mostly used is sword with baton. because it gives you just a tiny amount of super armor you can go with. And of course, since we are gonna, spoiler alert, get every single one of these legions for us, we're gonna get even more options. Also, here's chain jump. It's not a proper jump, except you get pulled by your legion and then you go to wherever he was. This is important for something that will come up later. But yeah, not a proper jump, but it's part of platforming for this game.
Yeah, we definitely call it chain jumping, and I would say it's probably the most ubiquitous movement option used in this game, right? So it's faster than running. So what you can do is you send your legion out, you basically snap to your legion, and then you send it out again. You can basically do this really big snappy movement where you chain jump, and it's faster than running, and it can work in the air. It can work so you can do interesting aerial movement with it as well, which is also a little bit of spoiler for some of the cool things that we can see, but it pretty much, once you get through the first two files, suddenly the movement in this game becomes quite complex. And so that's part of the fun, is that, the tech starts off easy and becomes increasingly rapidly complex.
Also, since we are in the start of file 3, nothing much is going to happen. We can definitely get in some donations.
Thank you. We have a $50 donation from John A, who simply says something we can all agree with: boo cancer. We also have a massive $500 donation from Progen that says, screw cancer, play video games faster than normal. That's exactly what we're going to do. Thank you very much for those donations, folks.
It's time to meet our favorite sleep paralysis demon, not before buying some more drinks. You may know him. I would say it's the most known part of this game. Lappy, police dog, mascot to Neuron. And Lappy is gonna give us something very important. And it's not an understatement, because we can fast travel after this. And fast traveling is gonna allow us to not have to go into the elevator every single time. So it's always nice.
Yeah, so I think the first two files are very misleading if you've never watched the speedrun report, because there's a lot of things that you do in the first two files that we then are able to kind of, speed up a lot. Like, so in the beginning, we're taking the elevator, we're talking to all these people, and basically after this, we can basically start snapping to areas a lot faster, which is nice.
So check out this light.
Woo!
You can do that inside the turning area, but not outside of it. So you just exit the turning area with that and go into the next part.
And it's a fast level movement.
Garage, I guess. I don't know what this room is called. Weapons lab, I guess. We're gonna unlock the third mode of the X-Baton, which is Gladius. Gladius is essentially a big sword that is used to break shields and deal very, very high base damage.
One way of thinking about it is you have the baton, which is very fast, and you have the gun, which is ranged, and then you have the Final Fantasy-esque, large, cleaver, which is for the higher damage output. It's slow though. It's slow, but it's meaty, but in many situations, it just still is your best option because it's gigantic.
Also, camera mode, very important mechanic.
Take a picture. It'll last longer.
Yeah, this part, Lappy just wants us to go around more places around HQ. You only have to go to 3. One is the garage, one is this part, the break room, and then he wants to show you the, what is it called, Legatus Terminal? Yeah, where you can,
Legatus Terminal, yeah.
You can clean your Legion and give it colors if you can unlock those. We are not gonna see it even once. Recently, someone figured out what it does, but it's not relevant to a speedrun, don't worry.
I just love the Lappy jump scares in this section. I think they're just hilarious. They never get old to me. Except when I'm trying to match through all the text. But yeah, so after this, we basically go down to the basement for just the briefest of moments. And then we are finally off to to I'm now forgetting the name of the place, but it's the place where the
Mason
mission.
Forest, I think.
Mason Forest. Thank you. That's it. That's exactly it. Yeah, heading to Mason Forest.
Okay, residential district. Stuff is happening there. We have to investigate, and it's gonna be way less linear this time. There's a few different routes that you can take. Basically, every single investigation after the first one, you have at least 2 NPCs that can give you the correct hints, and you can choose with that. Ratyu is gonna take left and do this small quest with the drone, and then just kind of wrap around, including saving Frantic Robot that has a very nice side quest, using something that we didn't talk about, but it's gonna be quite relevant later on, which is the Legion action. Every single one has a different special action, and Sword can cut things, as you would expect, including energy lines. It's going to be important for puzzles, and it's going to be very important for some fights, because it has a really wide range.
I want to just make sure that it's very clear that so all of these words that are showing up in the notes here, you have to collect a certain number of them to continue in the investigation. So it looks like he's just running into things and getting these names, but how we've decided to get, the order in which you talk to people matters a lot. So, and so the things are done in such a way that you're talking to people in an efficient order. So it's basically a large routing game. And as we've gotten better at the game, the way that we've routed getting all of these things has changed slightly. So I think that's a large part of what to appreciate during these investigations, is that there's like a lot of routing. Also, as we mentioned earlier, you'll notice there's a lot of Legion jumping that he's doing. So, he's doing a lot of Legion jumping to cover a lot of open ground, which is a good use there. By the way, if you chain bind this guy really fast, you can buffer rolling away. So that's actually what he did here before he got the red ghost text. Is he got a little bit of extra distance because he was able to buffer a roll.
So I think it's worth mentioning. You can't really do it right now, but in New Game Plus you could technically sequence break this and just go to the end. For some reason, this game sometimes is very strict with story triggers, so you have to do this 100% of the time. Also, here's the quiz. I hope we don't fail. Hey!
Oh. Hey, batting 17% is apparently a success in this game. So there you go.
And here's the final type of drink that we're gonna get, Fishy Water. Fishy Water is the main attack drink. It's 100% extra attack, 30% extra crit damage, I think, or maybe 10%.
Yep.
But you get 30% less defense. So it's risky, but at the same time, we can just burst down enemies so fast.
Luckily, you're on the easiest difficulty, so the defense down doesn't really matter, but the double damage, it's really meaty. And it lasts for a minute. So a lot of what you can do in the fight optimization is you can basically make sure that you can get even 2 or 3 fights on one drink doing double damage. And you can imagine double damage, faster fights, faster run. So...
Alright, lore-wise, by the way, this is a chapter where we get to see how a sibling not be able to perform as well as us. And this is one of these cases. She just struggles a lot to get there, and we can just jump to it. It's kind of important for later, for reasons. But for now, we can go into the first free astral plane, which is, in terms of a speedrun, astral planes are very interesting because when we're in the real world, there's a lot of barriers and stuff. Astral planes have almost no invisible walls or anything letting you not sequence break them. So as long as you can have the movement for it, you can just go right back to the end. There's one very single exception here that Ratyu is gonna skip anyway with the first instance of super climb.
Be careful.
So you'll notice, by the way, how he was Legion jumping there, where he kept throwing his Legion even in the air and using that to continue the movement. I mean, that was really good. A lot of people, myself included, actually do this fight, but if you're really fast, you can do basically this insane movement sequence to exit the arena early, which is somewhat insane.
Yeah, to explain exactly what's happening, I mentioned that chain jumping is just the Legion pulling you in. It has different animations actually depending on how the height is and the difference between you and the Legion. If you are below the Legion, you get pulled up, but you get pulled up in a way that you end up above the Legion, and you can then recall it and call it again, and that lets you gain height exponentially. Not exponentially, just very slowly, and eventually you can
Gradually, yeah.
use it to. This one is pretty high, so not quite right.
No! Shame.
He's
Yep,
gonna reload, I think. No, never
Yeah,
mind.
so he's just getting the Legion skills so that he can do all this attack stuff. So that's really unfortunate, but that is one of the hardest out of arenas that you can do in this game. But it's very cool. Like, we have an infinite height glitch in this game, which is very, very sick. That is probably, like, I don't go for that in my runs. Like, that is it's probably one of the hardest out of arenas that you can do. But it was really dope of him to attempt it live in the game, or in a GDQ run. So props to him for that.
He's gonna have to improvise a little bit here, but at least we get to see both slash modes here being broken. So
Yeah.
and the shield enemies, which are introduced here, and if everything went right, we won't see them until next file. Basically, there's a few types, but this one is connected to an enemy, and you have to cut it with the sword legion, whatever it's called, the slashing. Either way, you can kill them before they connect to an enemy, like we saw there.
It's not quite a chimera.
Make it way faster. Anyway,
So we're coming up. Oh yeah.
You're gonna play. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. So we're coming up on another sequence break. This is actually one of the first sequence breaks that was found in Astral Chain way back when it was released. Several years ago. So normally you have to rescue this robot, but it turns out that if you fall out of bounds in a certain location, you respawn back in bounds in a place that actually bypasses the invisible wall. So what he did here is he fell out of bounds, he got pulled up, but he's now actually spawned in past the invisible wall that you need to do this quest. And so we can just skip it entirely. Luckily, the quest doesn't actually have a flag that prevents movement forward, so we just can skip it entirely, and once we start, moving up here, then we can continue the run. So that is a very cool sequence break that we were able to do just by falling out of bounds. This is the Chimera fight, which is rough.
Yeah, dogs are really annoying, one of the most annoying types of enemies in the game. They can easily just decide to dodge every single attack and take a while to kill. But they were pretty nice now, and we can fight Big Dog Cerberus.
So
he spawns in.
Yeah.
He spawns in, and what you want to do is dodge the first attack and then use it to get as much damage as possible. There's a few different stats for this, but he's gonna jump to another location later, so you don't have to kill it fast. Since you just have to.
I gotta say,
away.
that was a rough Cerberus. The dude was moving. The doggo was hopping places, so that was a little bit rough. But he did it well. What he did on the earlier dogs that I thought was really smart is he was using the sword slash, like the special ability to slow down time to keep the dogs from doing too much hopping. But Cerberus himself was a little bit hop happy, unfortunately.
So since we didn't talk about it, Ratyu got a skill called Power Charge that gives extra attack, and you may be thinking, hey, what's the no abilities thing on the 90%? Didn't he just use an ability? So the naming convention is really weird. Abilities are actually equipable items that are completely random drops. You could get an attack plus 40% at the start of the run and then just save 6 minutes and get world records. So the standard 90% category just doesn't use abilities for that reason. There's a separate one, but it's kind of a meme because, of course, you can never predict what you're gonna get with those. And the Power Charge and others that we're gonna get are called skills instead of abilities, in case you were wondering.
By the way, I just wanted to point out, this is one of those things where to runners it's very obvious, but to the viewers, you'll notice sometimes when you're attacking a Legion, there will be a finish off prompt. We don't want to do those. Those are very long animations that refill your health, but we don't care about health. We only care about speed. So we want to avoid doing those as much as possible. So it's a little bit of a slowdown seeing the prompt, but that's when they have 1 HP left. So it's much faster just to burst through that prompt and do one more hit than to do an entire animation to regain health.
Also, you can skip the prompt sometimes, but it's not consistent.
Skipping the prompt has to do with whether or not you're locked onto the Legion or not. So for like, if you're attacking a single enemy, you can't skip it. But if you're attacking them in a group, you can change which Legion you're locked onto to avoid it.
Cheeky little skip here, by the way.
Yeah, that was a little bit of cute movement.
It's definitely a movement that you can do.
Super cute. Yeah, the movement in this game is so cute. Like, you can just do a whole bunch of hops and a whole bunch of Legion throwing, and you can skip a lot of stuff. And if you're off on your height just a little bit, like, it doesn't work. You know, like, a lot of these things are not trivial. You know, like, how to throw your Legion to get enough height, it's something that takes some time. You see how he's waiting and uses those slashes to clear all the enemies at once? That's just the big brain of Ratyu. You know, that's definitely some 2022, 2023 meta that we weren't doing back in the day to really maximize your Legion abilities. Yeah.
Okay, here we're gonna go into another astral plane to explain what's happening.
I told you.
I told you. The arrow Legion, the one that our sibling has, is here, takes our sibling, and then just goes to the astral plane, and we have to both save Akira and then get the Legion for ourselves. And this is a very interesting one because it has what I would say is the hardest super climb in the entire game. I have no idea how it works or how Ratyu always gets it. But we're gonna see.
Oh, this super climb. Oh, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. This is insane. Oh, man. So, yeah. So, it is interesting because, you know, we have an infinite height glitch. That is, like, the universal term for it. So, like, in this game, we have the infinite height glitch. You already saw it attempted once. But basically, it's surprising that, you know, you can't use it all the time because sometimes height isn't really the problem. But here, he did a takedown attack to gain height, and once you have height, you can always get more height. And so he's going to basically skip an entire puzzle section by trying to gain a lot of height in this first area. But you have to gain a lot of height and, you know, move forward, which he's doing now, which is quite hard. So he seems to basically have done it, though, which is insane. The dude is a nut. Oh my gosh, the dude is insane. Oh.
Hey, don't sleep just yet because we have another skip. Here's cool movement to avoid a single decently large invisible wall. Oh
No! I call that the Dark Souls roll because you do a little bit of a Dark Souls roll. So what happened there, which was a mistake, is that he accidentally threw the Legion and sent it back. So you can only do one chain jump in the air. That is the limitation of this game, and so that's why using your resources wisely when you're doing like these complicated movement is very important.
his arrow, by the way, it should be over very fast, and if it's not, it's a problem because he tends to just go around the arena and waste a lot of time. But with this correct setup, it's enough with the one combo. Easy clap.
Good night. Yeah. Good night. Also, I just want to say, I always like this game is pretty old. You know, this game is several years old now, and it just still looks really gorgeous, even on the Switch. You know, there's like a lot of things going on, but it just looks very pretty during this time.
His second Legion, Arrow. Arrow is not as capable in combat, so we're gonna still use mostly sword for now. But it has very different properties. Mainly that it's the fastest Legion to move manually. As you can see, Ratchu's moving it right now. So if you need to get the Legion somewhere, this is the best option by far. It also has the largest base chain. And its unique action, as you may probably assume, is shooting things. So here we're gonna camp for this switch top here. and just jump to Akira.
Great. Now hurry to Akira's position.
There's gonna be basically, hilariously, there's gonna be a string of loading screens here that is somewhat silly, so now would be not the worst time to read out some donations.
Oh, we got plenty of Astral Chain love here. One for me. Like I'm loving this run because, as Casey said, this game's brilliant. We got people loving it too. We got Anthony with a $25 donation that says, "What a treat to come home to an Astral Chain run." We also have a $50 donation from Dark Enigma that's saying, "This game is such bliss to play. So excited to see it getting destroyed. Good luck, Ratyu, with the run." And then finally, I got a $50 donation from Staccato Sharp that's saying, "Astral Chain is one of those games that looks really neat, but will remain in my backlog with 100 of other games. At least I get to see it crushed by Ratyu. Gotta go fast."
That was the thing that we unlocked there, by the way. There's a cat sanctuary and a cat side quest. Every single mission has a cat. They all have names. You can feed them. It's way more complicated than it should, but it's so funny.
Maybe one day, if we can get, even if we can get like all cases into GDQ, we can do an all cats donation goal. Maybe
You know they would love that. Everybody would go mad for the cats.
Hold on.
Everyone love.
We're forgetting the other one. All cats and all toilets. Because
Oh,
that's the
toilets!
thing
Oh
as
my
well.
god, yes. Yeah, so there's porta potties that you also can find in every single. So in every single file, there is one cat and there is one porta potty, and it is your job to find them both, casually at least. Obviously, in the speedrun, we don't have time for the kitties, but for the future donos, think about it. Think about it. Any case, so now we're going to be chasing down Jenna Anderson, the world's most misunderstood villain. So she's gonna be one of our primary antagonists through the most part of this game. She's a rogue scientist who's somewhat related to this entire mess, and we gotta do an investigation to find her. And so
Cheeky little
that's what we're
skip
gonna
there,
do.
by the way. Going over the invisible area that doesn't allow you to cross the road. That's the thing that you can do.
So because you're a police officer, you can't jaywalk, because as we all know, jaywalking is a crime. So you can't cross the street during red lights. So you have to actually use the Legion movement to go, quote unquote, over the red light barrier so that you can, we call it red light skip. So you can go over so you don't have to wait for the green light to cross the street. We are law-abiding citizens in this chat.
You lose 10 good boy points for every second you spend there. But we had 0 good boy points, so yeah.
Yeah. How dare we, you can fight legions, you can wield a gigantic sword, but jaywalking, that is where Platinum Games crosses the line when they made this game.
Alright, this investigation is fairly simple. There's 2 red cases and 2 blue cases. We chain bind that fanboy to get the red case ward, and then we're gonna just escort this easily lost man, which means we
I
can...
love the easily lost man. The man is
You
easily
can
lost.
chain jump. He just wants a burger. And can you blame him?
He wants a burger, but he's just so easily lost. He's just down the street. But it's okay. It's okay. We love him anyway.
For any fans of 20th century police shows, this is definitely one of the dialogues in the game.
I love this game. I love this dialogue.
Hey, you ever watch any of those old cop shows from the 20th century? They used to call this walking the beat. Hilarious.
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 So
man. Olive is a treasure in this game. The speedrun only makes it better because you have to hear that dialogue so much. It's wonderful. Some classy chain jump movement as well. I also I feel like that, you're so used, I wanted to highlight, by the way, how optimal a lot of his chain jumping is. Like, throwing out the Legion and basically doing that snappy movement and not hitting any obstacles or any people or any barriers, like, it's not easy. It requires position in camera, position in button pressing. I mean, it's always very crisp. And sometimes when it's crisp, it's easy to overlook how crisp it is.
Now into this astral plane, every single star point is broken. Here's some weird collision that you can use to make the Legion appear up there. Roll here and just move Legion there to make it ascend. And with just a little bit more climbing, you can go over this and skip 80% of the astral plane. And now for the other 20%, if everything goes right.
No! No!
Classic. Oh, nice backup,
Okay,
nice
he's gonna
backup.
save it though. He's gonna save it. He's gonna save it. We're all good. No! Pain and suffering. We can blame this guy. This guy is the cause of all of our problems. Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
This used to be done using the guy in particular before we knew how to super climb. And he has killed a lot of runs. It's not fun.
Yeah, that was an impressive backup, actually. I didn't know you could back that up. So, hey, you know, Ratyu is even schooling me a little bit. That was actually a very nice backup.
Into one of the worst fights in the entire run, unfortunately. Birds.
So, yeah. Oh, this one hurts. Flying enemies are the worst. So these are ALO. And the flying enemies in this game, positive, are like actually miserable. So basically you keep the gun and you try to keep the Legion on them to do damage, but they can run, they can basically put you into stun, they can fly around. Generally they're just the absolute worst.
Right. He's another shield guy, by the way. Spawn count him because he doesn't directly connect, but he flies off, and it's basically the arrow version of cutting the line like this one. If you kill it before it can do anything, then you save a lot of pain, and then you can just deal with the rest of the pain, which is these enemies.
That actually, I gotta say, the flying guys were not quite as flyy as they could sometimes be. I'll take it, honestly.
Definitely. Alright, we have quite a lot of downtime here since we go into Arc Mall. We can fit in a few donations.
Very much. We got a lot of Castlevania love coming up for that incentive that we have. $15 donation from Comet that says Castlevania HD was an underrated gem. I wish more people still played it. Hopefully we can get this incentive going for the showcase. We also got a $50 donation from Zion Barzad that says, I've sunk so many hours into Harmony of Despair. Glad to see it show up at GDQ. Let's see those zips. And we have a massive $250 donation from I Am Nomad with no message. And just a quick update on that Castlevania Harmony of Despair zip showcase. $3,701 out of the $5,000 needed. We need just $1,300 for this. We can definitely hit that during this run. Keep those donations coming in, everybody. Just like those chain jumps that we're seeing right now.
Lots of
Love that. Yeah.
$1 for every chain jump? I think it'd be
$1
poor.
for every change.
I think it'd be poor.
I don't want to go bankrupt, sorry.
Oh man.
No.
That would be a hefty donation.
It would indeed.
Yeah, it would, but yes. So now we're gonna go to the Arc Mall where we're gonna run into Jenna Anderson some more with her very hard to understand plotline. So you know, we just do a little bit more chain jumps, and
Something I've never
this is kind of an older meme, but if any of you guys like corn, you know, Jenna, we cut off Jenna Anderson, so she says corn a lot. That's a very a deep cut. Let's see if it happens.
I suppose you think you have me.
Oh, that was way too fast. Come on,
Cut off
Ratyu.
the bass. So she says, I suppose you think you have me cornered, but sometimes you can cut it off to say, I suppose you think you have me corn. And it's funny. I don't know. It used to be an old meme.
Movement around here is pretty hard. You have to avoid these puddles on the ground that are slowing you down if you touch them. And also, you have to not send your Legion because it goes directly to those tentacles. So you have to manually move Rogue Legion in particular because it goes faster, of course. And in general, trying to not hit any obstacles is kind of hard, especially for this particular room, which is lovely because you get to see your friends get tentacled. And of course, in case you want to save them, that's the case that you can do. But you can also take a picture of them being on the thing like that. And that's also a mission that you can do in the game. if you want 100%. One of the special photos.
Amazing. Yeah, you might remember in the Astral Plane section there was a sequence break that got a little bit borked because the Legion was locking on to enemies. So you gotta watch out for that. Like, the lock-on is obviously very helpful sometimes, but for breaks and other things can be very, very terrible otherwise. So we see you very... Yeah. Arm Legion. So you push Arm Legion to the second phase very quickly, and then you go for a chain bind. There it is.
Beautiful.
Then it should be good night in a little bit. And yep. Snappy snappy. Chain bind in this game is very broken, especially combined with Gladius and Power Charge and a drink. So Power Charge, which is part of what we do as well, is the Legion ability that buffs your attack by 25%, and it stacks with the drink. So you get 100%, so double damage, plus 25%. And with all those stacking, that's why we're able to nuke these bosses so fast. Is we're stacking a lot of power-ups.
The Legion, we don't have much time because another skip is coming up. Arm Legion is a strong, bulky man that can open doors and lift stuff, but mainly what we want to use is his special thing, which is this armor mode. It's the fastest way of movement, dodging with this. It deals a lot of... why did you say deals? You use a lot of energy with it.
Yeah,
and that's very important. You have to specifically use your energy in a way that lets you traverse everything nicely. Also, here's... I don't know if it's gonna reset this.
Yeah, he's trying to do a sequence break, but it's so hard.
It is pretty hard. There's a backup still.
Yeah, these are just impossible. I don't know. These are the ones where I'm like, dang, this is kind of hard.
Yeah. The best part of any mall is exploring, as you all know. So we're gonna go exploring out of bounds. There's a few things.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say that Platinum Games does a lot of this, where there's a lot of like areas that are open, but it's all flag based. So if you access an area without doing a flag, it gets really trippy really fast. Like you see things aren't even properly loaded and stuff. And I guess you can continue.
Yeah, there's a few missions that you have to do in order to reach the last part of this file. But if you go out of bounds, you can just navigate it in a particular way that is still faster, even though it feels slower, in which we're gonna fall out of the vault and then roll into the elevator that takes us to the top of the armor, where the final fight is gonna happen. It's taking quite a little while, but if you can see what Ratyu doing, that's a charge shot with arrow. That's one of the few sync attacks that you can use to gain height anywhere, which means we can now super climb anywhere we want. It's not super fast to initiate, but we'll get faster options later on.
Yeah. Basically, so in order to do the infinite height glitch, there has to be a height difference between you and your Legion. Once there is a height difference, there he is. Nice, good job. Once there is a height difference, you can always increase that height. So that's actually what he's doing, is he's creating a height difference and he's abusing it. And then yes. This sequence break is actually insane. It's actually nuts. Where are you going? Oh my god. It's very crazy to see something like this. This is why I like Astral Chain, by the way, is it because there's a lot of it's a hack and slash. No! Oh no. Oh no.
Alright, that's a void up. I thought for a sec that was an infinite fall, which can happen.
Yeah, you can soft lock.
Gonna reposition, I assume. Any re-armor that you see on the air is to keep your height, and it's very, very hard to do it constantly because you're gonna lose height very, very fast. So every single skip that requires this can take quite a few tries, but that's fine. We are on the top. That's what matters.
Not human. Ouch.
I think this is what makes Astral Chain a very unique game from even other hack and slashes, though, is that it's not just like the combat is very optimized and the movement is very optimized, but you also have these really insane crisp out of bounds that you can do, and there's also a lot of movement, and there's routing investigations and resource management. Like, it's very much like a run that has everything, which is what makes it very intimidating, but also very cool to watch and to run and to play.
This is the first homunculus in the run.
Homunculus Alpha.
You wait for Dialogue in Jenna to finish as she's beating up Akira, and then you prepare so you can just kill this as fast as possible. This Dialogue lock, you can reduce his health to 1, but then you have to wait for everything to happen. So you can just take another cool selfie time and just shoot.
Yeah. Ratyu and the Japanese athletic community definitely have upped the meta in terms of selfie swag. They were some of the first people to really start. Mariana and Ratyu were the first runners really to do a whole lot of camera selfie swag. It definitely warms the cockles of my heart.
I'm gonna administer first aid.
And now,
So Jenna, yeah.
End of file 4. We have probably the longest downtime in the run, or the most calm part of the run. We're gonna have a few things to talk about, but for now, go ahead with donations.
All right, I'll read a couple. Just interrupt me when you want to start again, all right?
Repeat.
We got a $25 donation from Draco that says, "What is a speed run? A miserable little pile of resets, but enough talk. Have my donation. Looking forward to the Castlevania block." We have Otaku Arbiter with $50 saying, "Another exciting year of AGDQ." And we have nicknamed Osiris with $25 saying, "Always remember to add an incentive." And we also have a $25 donation here from Fry saying, "Hello all, my partner and I have recently rediscovered our love for video games and each other through speedruns. Who knew you could play the same game in so many different ways? Good luck to all the runners, and let's do our bit to prevent cancer." We also have a $20 donation from MOD366 that says, "I'm a simple man. I hear Argus host, I donate. Keep being awesome, Arg. Also, good luck to the runner. I have still yet to get around to playing Astral Chain, so I have no clue what you're doing, but it looks amazing." We also have a $200 donation from Call Me Otaku that says, "Sorry I missed the last GDQ. Keep up the great work, guys." I never apologize for missing GDQ. You can always watch them and look forward to the next events. A quick update as well on that Castlevania Harmony of Despair Zip Glitch Showcase. $3,931 out of 5,000. We are almost there. Keep pushing, everybody. We want to see more glitches, more Castlevania, more fun. But now, it is back to more Astral Chain.
Yep. We are on a hospital visit. Akira got stabbed, and so she's in the ARI, Aces Research Institute. That's a mouthful, but yeah, this is the hospital. It's essentially an autoscola, except there's one thing that we can do here. And this first part, Brenda needs to get permission for us to actually enter and visit our sister. We can skip the wait, usually very long, by waiting for dialogue to start, and then you just face the camera away, and for some reason that works and it skips everything. And we use the time to also buy some drinks here.
More fishy water. I feel like that when you play the game, you don't really, especially when you speedrun, you do it over and over again, you don't think very hard, but fishy water does not sound very appetizing. But it does give you a lot of damage, yeah. But it's this like sweet peach soup also. I mean, you think about the names of the drinks and it's like, wait a second, this doesn't sound very good. But I suppose that's just the post-apocalyptic vibe, right? That the game has to give you, is apparently that's just all you got.
Yeah, but something I've realized though, like they distract you with the flavor, with just the happy face of the vending machine, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Don't think about it. It took me an embarrassingly.
It's like fishy war, smiley face. Oh no.
Excellent. Yeah. That's why it lowers your defense, man. You know why. Yeah. No.
It's actually a good point because for some reason, the thing that matters of what the vending machine is gonna sell you is actually the personality of the vending machine. We have cheerful, we have neutral, this one. There's a tsundere one for my anime lovers.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them. And you have to take a photo of every single one, if I remember correctly, for the full album. So, very
Right.
cool.
Well, and then there's the Astral Chain vending machines, right? That sell the Laffy special
Oh,
or
true.
something. You know. Yeah. Any case, now we're done seeing Akira, who got stabbed by Jenna. Jenna, by the way, is the one who's making the homunculuses for some purpose. You'd think as the runner we would actually know what the heck Jenna's doing, but it's still somewhat of a mystery. Played this game hundreds of times, and Jenna's making the homunculuses, which are not great, and that's pretty much all we know. Also, she doesn't...
I don't know, anime villain plot. I don't really know.
Platinum Games, who also makes the Bayonetta series, loves to introduce very cool characters that have very unknowable, goals and desires. I feel like it's very much a Platinum Games kind of thing to not explain anything. So, I see that all the time in Bayonetta. So, yeah, and in Metal Gear Rising to a certain extent. So, yeah, it's definitely a very common thing.
Pile 5 starts with a very important question. I don't know how we want to mean this, but putting on a mask is slower, but please do it in real life. Please use masks. Anyway, we're on a subway that got hit with some explosions, and the first part is gonna be finding civilians that are still trapped around here. And moving them is slow by ourselves, but thankfully we have a big, bulky Legion to help us. Unless it sleeps. Using the big hitbox that ARM has, you can just push yourself a little bit and make things faster. And talk about big hitboxes. You're supposed to enter this train from the other side, but there's a switch and you can hit through it.
I do love the visual of, I love the idea in the first hostage of the Armed Legion just kind of pushing you, being like, come on, buddy, you can get up the stairs. Here, you can't, push them against the wall, so you have to use these, arm grabs to just inch you slightly closer to the hit. Which is kind of funny. You just keep... It doesn't do any damage, or it does very little damage, so it's basically just grabbing an aberration and just by the head and just bringing it back to you over and over again. Kind of a bully move, if you ask me.
Oh, unfortunate slide.
Ugh. So one thing about this game in particular, which makes it very punishing on the movement, is that it is very sensitive to hitting obstacles. So, if you hit an obstacle, like Ratyu did there, you stop dead in your tracks. And so, whenever Ratyu is doing, crisp movement to get to a destination, it's good to, keep in mind that there's a lot that there's a lot of mistakes that he's not making that are very easy to make.
There's also some things that you can hit and break, and then NPCs get angry at you. So you also want to avoid all of those, but I don't think we're going to see any of them. At least, not for now.
Yeah. Note how he used the sword, the power slash ability to slow down time to get those enemies all together and hit them. So you can also slow down time while you do that slash move. And so you can do that to hit a lot of enemies in a group, especially if they're prone to running. And here you just grab another big enemy by the head. You set to augment your movement. Love that.
That's 3 civilians. We can go into the final fight of this particular section, which is with Alicia, and against many dogs. Hopefully they won't troll us in any way. It's 2 big dogs first, and then 2 smaller ones appear that you can essentially insta-kill. So it all depends on how good these boys are gonna be to us.
Yeah. puppies in general are just the absolute. They're not quite as bad as flying enemies, but they're close. They can do some whack stuff.
Which is the reason why this file in particular is the absolute run killer.
Oh yeah, it can be over. Well, before the super large, very cool sequence break that we're about to show them after Deimos. Spoiler alert.
You really saved
Oh,
my
also,
baby back there.
This is gonna get very awkward for a sec. You're supposed to go up the escalator, but
I'd be the one helping
as long as you hit the trigger, you can just
motherly instinct.
do whatever you want and you'll get teleported. So,
Aw, you didn't hear that, did you?
yeah.
Never mind. Not like your old man ever picked up on it either.
You gotta love the Platinum Games exposition. Oh, look, he's recycling. Oh, I love that. We got a whole bunch. So you can run into empty cans, and so you walk up to the trash can
Achievement
and
unlocked.
just start recycling. Oh, Ratyu's a god. He's a legend. World record holder over here, by the way. He's an absolute champ.
Running away again?
Recycling is good, everyone.
Wanna play tag?
Recycle.
You're it.
Coming up,
So,
we go
yeah.
to the culprit of the explosions, Deimos. Deimos is another new type of chimera that is also pretty annoying, but it has a very important thing that we can abuse. So there's a special command when you slash with sword after dodging an attack during the actual slashing thing. If you use it right after starting an attack and dodge, you can start this spinning attack, dodge, and then reset it once again, and it deals a lot of damage. It's not viable for any enemy except Deimos in the run, but it looks so cool. If you could see
need to
anything
learn
on
how to
screen.
do that. Yeah, that you reminded me. That's the next thing after when I come back to running this game. I need to practice that because that looks just so sick.
Right, no time to explain. Escape. Very
yeah.
important.
Yes.
So, this is
you go
Beast
for it.
Legion. This fight is terrible. We're gonna skip it. Using this cool collision here, you can go up here.
Sorry to leave everything.
And now with a simple climb, skip Beast. Of course, we need Beast to actually finish the game, but the game is gonna give it to us. But you're not supposed to complete this particular astral plane without Beast, except you can just speed through platforms that disappear, and when you cross this line, the game says, hey, you killed it. Congrats. Now, part 2. Part 2
So yeah.
is very hard. Sorry, I
So
have to...
basically, yeah. Oh, it is. It is. This is the hardest. This is probably the hardest out of bounds movement and sequence break in the game, for sure. He's okay. First of all, he's insane. He's an absolute nut. But basically, to explain exactly how hard this is, you have to basically stay above the floor. Oh no! You have to stay above the floor basically the entire time. Otherwise, this happens. Yeah. So this is one of the hardest sequence break because it's a very long sequence break, and failure is super punishing. And he was so close.
Yeah, it is the run killer.
But it is. But it is. This is. So this is why this is actually known as the run killer, because it basically, this fight is miserable, and you have to basically do the entire sequence over again if you mess up even one part of it.
He gave us no time to explain that what's supposed to be the second part is how to escape. Remember the robot that we skipped earlier? We can skip it
Yeah.
again.
Sure.
You're supposed to have Beast first in order to save him, but we don't, so we have to forcibly skip this. And the fastest way to do it, and most non-annoying way, is standing on these platforms here. And then there's like 7 or 8 different variations that you can do, but generally what you want to do is go to the next platform, which can be very tricky. You have to re-armor a few times. And then you can either go to one of the platforms in the middle or directly to the end, like Ratyu was trying to do. And it is very tricky. Failing it costs a lot of time. And as you tell, you have to do that fight if you have triggered it. So it's not a fun time. If you get it first try, congrats. It's so cool, so nice. You do nothing in this astral plane. 0 fights. But if you mess it up once and he's gonna go for a safer strat,
Yeah.
you can get very, very punished.
Yeah, this is. I mean, you can't be shocked. I mean, it is a gigantic punish, but the movement up to it was so crisp. So he had me believing, and but it definitely, if you learn the speedrun, that is learning even the safe strats for it is something that you work a long time to get down because it is probably one of the most punishing sequences. But even though you've skipped a lot, it doesn't matter as long as you hit this cutscene trigger with Jenna Anderson.
Time for menuing. We're gonna get a lot of things that are not gonna be used until quite a while. Starting with arrow. I said arrow is not super useful in combat. I technically lied, but it's only useful for one particular purpose, but it's a purpose that we can abuse quite a lot in the second half of the run. And it's gonna take a while to unlock, but it's one of the commands that's here, round arrow. Every single legion has a 360 plus collision to do a special command, and arrows is very good. You'll see why.
Definitely, it gets a lot of play in. It gets a lot of play in file 6 and in file 7 and onward. I mean, there's just a lot of really interesting things you can do with round arrow. Shoutouts to Kure, by the way, who's another runner who figured out that round arrow was broken. He was the original finder of that.
Shoutouts to the entire Japanese community for this game. They are so good. Mariana right now, one of the gods of the game, commentating on the Japanese restream. Shoutouts to them. Kure, the absolute nut, finding so many incredible skills that no one even thought of, and then Ratyu being the end all be all of execution.
Yeah, Ratyu's execution is actually unmatched.
Also, this is a fight.
Yeah,
it's gonna end up pretty quickly.
Love that. What fight? I didn't see anything.
There was one particular trick in there that we're gonna explain later because it's very strange to explain right now. Just know that we have Beast now.
We can explain it right before Kyle, I think. I think that's right, like during the Kyle cutscene, I think, and then it would be a really good point. Now actually, if there's some donos, we have some time for some quick donos.
Thank you. We had a $5 donation train come in. So we had $5 from Lefty saying, all aboard that $5 donation train departing at 5:55. And yes, it did. $5 donation from Hysterics that says, hype, have fun and good luck. And we had a $25 donation from Bullrug that says 5 tickets for 5 friends on the $5 hype train at 5:55. Thank you for the hype train there. Do keep it coming in, and maybe, just maybe, you might also get to pet the pupper there. You can pet the beast. $5, pet the beast. Actually, can we pet the beast in this game? I can't remember if we can or not.
Well, we can totally pet the beast. I don't know if we can tell Ratyu mid-run to pet the beast.
No, not mid-run. Just in general, it's like, yo, $5 to the cherry, the thought goes to the beast, and we pet the beast. There you go.
There you go, yes.
Metaphorically petting the beast.
Yes, we also, now that we have Beast, we should say you can ride the Beast. It's actually it's usually one of the more ubiquitous movement options in mid-game, late game. It's not as fast as arm dashing, but it doesn't use up a lot of meter, and you have a little bit more control, because you can only dash at right angles. So sometimes Beast is good for kind of longer traversing. So you can ride the Beast, you can pet the Beast, there's cats. Want to just remind everyone that there's cats in this game, so there's a lot to offer. Again, avoiding jaywalking like a pro, and then we were gonna ride an animal. So you see, it's pretty fast and uses up a lot less meter than arm dashing, so it's kind of helpful to move quickly during these areas. But you'll notice for short things like coming up here, you switch to arm for the arm dash because it's a little bit faster.
Yeah, it's the main movement optimization that you want to do as you progress in the game. More arm dashes means faster, but you can't just put them willy-nilly everywhere. So you have to know when and where to use them. Also, worth noting, normal people are supposed to not see legions, so whenever we are riding with beast, just imagine that.
Yeah, so only you can see the this is a little bit of lore that, of course, we've skipped through. So only people who have legions can see legions. So how does riding your legion work? Like, what does that look like to everyone else? Like, don't think about it. Don't think about it too hard. You know, hurts your brain. But, you know, something that we've always wondered.
Stealth station, by the way. Ding, 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 lore update. We are trying to go to a closed-off section of the Ark illegally. And so we are going to have to go through guards. The first one is fairly easy. You just bind this guy for a key. The second one looks impossible, but thankfully video game guards are definitely built differently. And by that I mean badly. So we're going to go up to 2 guards that are right in front of each other. We're going to bind one of them, and the other one is going to get distracted, and he's going to ignore that we exist. So we can just ride on through to Zone 09.
Detail on this side too. You know the drill.
If you do get caught, it actually isn't the end of the world, but we've actually recently found that it's faster to not get caught.
Hey, what happened?
Yeah, he somehow couldn't figure out that there was someone behind him. You know, we're just too fast for him, I guess. Any case, another little quick, fun, not really out of bounds, but unconventional movement option to get to Zone 09 a little bit faster is what we do right here.
Yeah. Ratyu's gonna use a fairly... Oh, no, he's gonna fall to avoid that thing. Oh!
No! Void! Not the void.
There's a new variation of this that he uses. You can... There's supposed to be a puzzle here. You get some hints on where to go, but basically just go here and into Zone 09. Another investigation. There's a lot of missions that you can do to learn stuff, but you can also talk to this man who knows everything.
Yeah, so the walking man is supposed to be somewhat of a Easter egg because he walks around the entire map. Luckily, we know where he is. He loads in at the start of you entering Zone 09. So as long as you know where he is, he basically can give you a lot of the hints. And so because of that, this investigation goes very quickly because he gives you half the hints. But casually, if you don't find the walking man, this investigation can take a long time.
For reference,
luckily, yeah.
All cases he spends at least 20 minutes doing just side quests.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So this is an example, by the way, of how finicky Astral Chain is. So what happened is Ratyu literally bumped into a plastic chair and it made someone mad. And so that's why there was a literal like cutscene slowdown there. So in terms of how precise you sometimes have to be in your movement, the punishes can be very silly, but very real. He had a chair and that was just unacceptable.
So here's the end of the investigation. You learn that you can go into the Hermit's base. They are the guys controlling this by using the ventilation ducts. Who would have known? Either way, Ratyu is gonna use an alternative way to get in, aka going out of bounds. It's just slightly faster because the rubble here doesn't actually load in.
Oh my, yes. Also, insane out of bounds stuff. He just casually does it. This stuff is not casual. I have tried forever to get it to work. It's just so hard. He just makes it look so easy. What a champ.
I don't think anyone does this strat except him, actually.
No, yeah. I just want to say, by the way, a lot of the stuff that he's going for, these are like Ratyu exclusives. Like, even other very good runners in this game don't go for everything that he goes for, because he's just actually built different. I want to throw it out here. This cutscene... Yeah. Do you want to discuss the black hole glitch? Yeah, do you want to discuss the black hole glitch right now, and then go have a little bit of donos after that?
Yeah, we can definitely do that, yeah. So I'm gonna talk about skill glitch. Skill glitch is something that is not obvious at all. Also, Ratyu just went to the bathroom himself, apparently. So every single legion has unique skills. We got some of them, but the more useful ones are obviously endgame and take a lot of resources to actually unlock. But every single one of those has a unique ID, and these IDs are repeated between Legion and Legion. So there's a cool nifty thing that you can do. If you change to a Legion, and as it loads in, you change to another one, then the Legion you are using is on screen, active, but you get the menus and options from the other one, meaning you can use a skill with another Legion that then translates to the Legion that is on screen, as long as you go back to that Legion again. And this is very useful for this fight, and future fights in particular, to use the black hole or gravity, whatever, with arm. You'll see it right here, group all enemies using that, by going to sword, using a skill there, and it's gonna be used on arm.
Let's get out of here before.
Also, Ratyu with the clutch bathroom / water break. The dude is a king on timing. But yep, that's the skill glitch. So the gravity well that he's doing there, we haven't unlocked that, but it doesn't matter because it doesn't matter. We can use it anyway because of that weird skill glitch that we're doing. So it's using a skill that we haven't unlocked. So normally this is a very late game skill, so it would take forever to unlock it, but we basically can do it in an any % speed run because of the skill glitch.
Unfortunate first fate, unfortunately, but Kyle here, very cool character, is gonna jump into his position. You can stun him, and you can also use this time to set up, using another skill glitch for lightning chain on Beast, which is basically just a damaging hitbox on the chain that is very, very good. Then Howl to stun him on midair and finish the fight right here. Very nice.
And that is what we call the sheer thrill of battle.
Yep. We're gonna get a tour of Kyle's path here. It's quite a long waiting section, so definitely hitting some donations right now.
Yeah, donations are good.
Very much. I'm going to start with an absolute tongue twister of a name that took me a couple of minutes here. We have a $25 donation from He Who... Oh, let me try that again. He Who Am R is myself. And they say, just woke up to see we haven't made a showcase yet. Let's fix that. And of course, putting to the Castlevania. We also have a $25 donation from Too Spoofy, who says, very happy to be sending this donation just months after starting my first full-time job as a video games programmer. Money is tighter than I expected, but I can still spare this much. Shout out to Yatu and The Couch. You are killing it. We also have a $15 donation from Mupith that says, I am so hyped for the Castlevania block. Aria of Sorrow is my favorite game in the series, so I am excited to see it get destroyed. Thank you to everyone who makes GDQ happen. And finally, we have a $50 donation from MD Lactcube, who says, today's weather forecast calls for cold temperatures, rising only up into the 40s. Cloud cover consistent throughout the day with variable winds and breezy prospects, but without much chance of precipitation. In the afternoon, the overcast gloom will give way to more fast games. Thank you very much, everybody, for your donations. Do keep them coming in. And remember, your donations are going towards some prizes as well. Have a look at the GDQ website. See which prizes are currently active right now. We have some nice Pokemon stuff, some Meta Knight keychain as well, and some really cool parlors.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Argick. So basically, oh snap. Okay, that was really fast. Okay, I was going to describe how he's going to clip out of a glass pane and skip, you know, maybe 10 minutes of stuff. And he did it way faster than I thought he could. So, shout outs. So basically what he did is you can clip out of the Hermit's base and avoid having to, you know, actually normally walk out of the Hermit's base and get to this area. Because it turns out that the entire arena is one solid thing. So the Hermit's base is actually at the top of a tower of the entire area. So if you exit the tower, you can just burst down to get to anywhere you want on the map. And so that's really cool. Now, of course, we're back in the Astral Chain. File 6 Astral Chain movement is actually really cool because there's a lot of puzzle skips and there's a lot of cycle-based stuff that we're going to see if he can hit. So there's a whole bunch of invisible platforms that show up when your Legion is there. So obviously, as the speedrunner, we know where the platforms are, but there's a lot of things to be wary of. Oh, yeah. Oh, and so he switched to the Beast, and you can quickly jump with the Beast, and that's how he got onto that platform. I was spooked because it almost looks like you don't make it, but he was able to get it in time. You want to kill this guy really, really quickly because there's a platform that you want to make the cycle of. So, you know, there's all of this stuff, the result screen, blah, 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 but you want to make it so that the platform hits down when you finish. Because otherwise you have to wait for it to go up and down again, which you can see is actually very slow. So he made that cycle with the greatest of ease. And then just a lot more arm dashing down this invisible stuff.
Ooh, trying for...
Oh, he tried for something psycho. He tried to basically scooch under and clip back up, but that's very hard.
Yeah, it kills your momentum if you don't do it perfectly, so it's very, very hard on strat.
Yes. Nice.
Also,
good movement there.
New strat here, basically a few weeks ago. Let's see if he gets it. With a cool arm climb.
No! I gotta say, I personally have a very hard time doing that gun climb. So what you can do when there's an active enemy is you saw that he was using his gun. You can shoot an enemy and flip up and basically enter your Legion and exit it really, really fast and then do another shot. And that animation gives you a little bit of height. So that is one way of getting height if there's an enemy nearby. But it's very finicky, and the hand movement for it is somewhat tough. Here we're going to see another black hole glitch, because there's a lot of small enemies, and we're going to basically nuke all of them. There's the black hole, all the enemies, and you can, gorgeous.
Yep. Alright, who was taking notes earlier? Remember round arrow? Well, if you have heard of spin to win, this is not that spin to win actually, but the one that's coming here. Look at that damage. And the bind to end. Yeah, that's round arrow. The amount of projectiles that arrow shoots there is so high, so numerous. If you stack every single I'm so bad at talking. If you stack a drink and then power charge and then use that, normally that would be, I don't know, 10 damage per bullet, which is not too much, but with those many stacked multipliers, you can deal so much damage if you hadn't hit every single thing. And for big enemies like that Turtles there, that's so strong.
Basically, so yeah, notice again for those big enemies there, he was able to use the Legion Slash to cover a lot of ground for those aberrated hermits. So what's happening here lore-wise is somewhat complicated. Astral Chain is merging with the real world, which is, I don't know, generally ungood. But we gotta figure out what's going on, so we're gonna try to make our way to this character named Douglas, whose purpose is unknown, but, you know, seems to be selling the hermits a whole bunch of astral chain drugs. So, you know, there's a lot going on there.
Yeah, they're supposed to be able to fight chimeras only because they have those enhancement drugs.
This flying enemy has just juked so much attacks. I've never seen him do that much dodging. Flying enemies are such a troll, dude. Oh, that was funny. So there is there's a crazy skip here. What's that? Oh, nope, not quite.
This is very inconsistent, but basically there's a cutscene that is gonna block your path here. If you don't hit the trigger, you can go around and skip it. Otherwise, you have to wait for a set of crystals to appear and then platforms to appear, which is
I've never
quite slow.
seen that setup actually. That was crispy. I mean, I know he didn't get it the first try, but that actually looked like a crispy setup. I'm taking notes. That's a different setup than the one I'm used to. That's really good. I think he's a little bit of a sword guy. Gotta handle him. You don't even need a power up for this one because it's one enemy, and with all of the different other augmented stuff, it's not worth using a drink on.
Douglas has to be around here somewhere.
We're concentrating on Douglas, but first we're gonna do the first and only telling session in the game. You may have seen there's some items that enemies drop or that we get as rewards, and they are expressly used to be sold. You need around 36k is usually what I use as a benchmark. That's way too much, but it's gonna be pretty good for the rest of the run. Basically, you need a lot of money for baton upgrades coming up. We want to hit a baton level 6, I think, to get every single command that you can use, especially Assault. Assault is extremely good. Also, Douglas is dead.
Yeah. So yeah, something happened to our boy Douglas. We're gonna find out what. The answer, as usual, is Jenna Anderson. So coming up after this, we basically follow where Jenna Anderson went with that briefcase, and we run into the next homunculus, aptly called Homunculus Beta. Homunculus Beta, nominally, is a very annoying enemy because it can climb up on the walls. It's huge. It has crazy sequences, cutscenes. However, with the power of Round Arrow, I will leave it to the viewer to see how that fight turns out.
There you are.
But now, actually, if there's a time for, like 30 seconds of donos, that actually would be not a bad time.
Orders.
All right, we got a $5 donation from Felina that says, had to donate during Astral Chain to say, I love the Ampharos hanging out on Ratyu's desk. We also got a $25 donation from Gildine that says, let's get all the bonus games for GDQ. A quick update on that Castlevania Harmony of Despair one. $4,456 out of 5,000. We are almost there, chat. Let's hit that by the end of this Astral Chain run. And now let's watch a boss get destroyed.
Yes! The timing is impeccable. So this is Homunculus Beta, an insanely hard boss if you don't have Round Arrow. Wait for it.
And there it is.
Good night. Yeah,
If you
so
don't-
that's
I was gonna say,
Yes.
this is probably the hardest boss to run arrow against in the entire game, because if you don't get it between two arms or two legs or whatever, you're not gonna get enough hits, and then he starts climbing and you have to improvise, and it sucks.
Oh, man.
We were there illegally, we got caught, so it's time for some prison bonding time. Also, Akira is now recovered and edgier than ever, so shout outs to that.
Yeah. Oh, and also, while we have a brief moment, someone mentioned the Ampharos on Ratyu's desk. He also has the special edition Astral Chain poster right next to the Ampharos. So this is clearly a man of culture. If he wasn't also an Astral Chain god, it should be noted that this man is a man of the culture. So, he has, but it's very good. So yeah, we're trapped in jail for a little bit because we were bad, which is annoying. Also, our twin is decked out in very much not villainous armor. So, that was something also that I'm sure you guys noticed. Totally not a villain though.
He also has a legion again, which means they don't need us anymore.
Yeah, they don't need us
for
anymore.
30 seconds.
For about 30
they're gonna-
seconds, yeah.
They're gonna realize they are not good enough without us, and then we just go back into action.
Yeah. I do love I do love that though. Yeah. Hey, what's up with the new Legion that has the red and black motif, right? Nothing suspicious there. Nothing absolutely not. Don't worry about it. Us with the white and blue motif. Yeah, totally not at all, No foreshadowing in this game, clearly. Platinum Games known for their subtlety.
There's no card games, right? But no, we okay here. We're not going to see dragons.
Not yet. I don't think.
Not yet.
Dragon's my
No.
part. I'm joking. I'm teasing. No. So we're gonna upgrade our weapon a little bit more. Upgrading your weapon obviously makes the weapon a little bit stronger, but it also gives you more abilities. Usually called syncs. So you can do kind of more special combos with your Legion. So we're going to do. So those combos will give us some more abilities, including more damage, more height, which can translate to different movements. So there's a lot that we can do with the different sync options here.
The important one is assault sync, which is back, then forward, then attack. This can be used with arrow in particular to gain height almost instantly, and it's gonna be our main use to get climbing started. It's gonna be very well seen here. Callback, by the way, to file 1. This shows that most of the series we've been in are actually connected. We're gonna start in file 1, then we're gonna go to a small new section and go to where file 2 was. But not before, well, that didn't quite work out, but you can jump over this instead of waiting for the homunculus there to destroy it. So we're just gonna use this thing with... Alright, never mind, that was not based.
No, he missed the... Oh, jeez. So this is a good example as to how many things can go wrong. So, yeah, so you need to switch to beast. Yeah, he's doing it. Yeah, he's getting... And you do the thing. There it goes, yes.
I'm not gonna save any time, unfortunately.
Oh, dang. That's brutal. Yeah, so you can see how it's really hard to quickly flip between legions and height and different sync combos. It's that's a very common thing. Yeah, so you can either let the bus hit you, or you can, if you're quick, you can actually shoot the bus. You can shoot the truck down, and that's what he did there, with a nice little selfie. If you can trust Ratyu to do anything, you can always trust him to do the selfie. So coming up, we are about to face one of my least favorite enemies of all time, Kalino. Kalino is a flying enemy boss, so if you hate flying enemies normally, it's not surprising that you hate the flying enemy boss. But Kalino's coming up after a very interesting sequence break / movement option coming up here, but that's something that we're gonna look forward to him dealing with.
This is, we used to call it Richard skip when we did one fight and then skip Richard. Richard is supposed to be saved to lower a bridge. I would call this Super Richard skip because we're not gonna have to do the first fight. You see these fights? In a normal game you would think, oh, that's just out of bounds. There's no way there's collision there. Think twice. Now with some extra platforming to the pipes, we can go right next to this bridge, clip arrow through it, and hopefully go past.
Yeah, so clipping through this thing is sometimes a little bit finicky.
Just like that.
Yeah! Oh, we got it.
Nice.
That was a great save. In Astral Chain, it is very common when you miss a skip to panic, and that's not good because when you panic, your Legion generally also panics. Somewhat of a joke, but like it's somewhat true. So like him keeping his Legion up there and being able to execute the jump was very good resolve from his standpoint. Anyways, here is Kalino. First phase is fast. It's a set HP to push him into the second phase, so he's just doing a couple assault syncs with the gun, which is very good. So that's something that we just kind of added. And we drink a drink now, and that drink will still be active when we go into the astral plane. So Kalino unfortunately drags you into the astral plane, and there's no way to prevent that. It's a set cycle, so you can't skip that.
What Ratyu wants to do here is focus down Kalino as fast as possible and try to kill her instantly. She can just decide to fly away, and then you have to fight the goons before you can actually get any more damage in. So as long as you get enough time to... Oh, never mind, Sword decided to troll. Uh-oh. Kalino moment.
Kalino moment. This is a real Kalino moment, chat. He's locked onto Kalino, so he might still be able to save it.
It's looking...
No, Kalino! No, Kalino did Kalino things. Yeah. Kalino's... Yep, so now he has... Switching to arrow. Oh, nope. You see? Yeah, he's moving. And now he's out of meter. Real Kalino hours. Who up? Oh, thank God. Yeah. Lord. Real Kalino hours. When I say Kalino is one of the worst bosses in the game, I'm not saying that lightly. Kalino does Kalino
I'll let
things.
the police know the safe zone is clear. Follow
Oh
that
well,
homunculus.
we can move on from that and keep chasing this homunculus who evolved into homunculus beta, and it's gonna keep
That was way too
getting
close.
more and more energy
Don't let it get away.
from the enemies here. So we have to wait a little bit. You can do whatever to distract yourself. Group them like that. And just wait for this barrier to disappear. And then we're
In
going
the
to
fight coming up, oh yeah,
take
sorry.
one-
Yeah, sorry. Go for it. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, it's one of the hardest fights to optimize in the entire run. Usually what you want to do is make sure you kill everything fast with sword, especially the big enemies before they can be shielded, just like that. And then the second wave is gonna spawn right behind him. So he wants to turn around and get ready to slash all of them at once. Using the slowdown here, and 1, 2, and this should be it.
Oh, one more.
I have
where did
no
he
idea
go?
what happened.
There it is. Okay. Weird. There was some weird camera shenanigans that went on there. But yeah, so with the shield enemies, there are two strategies, both of which are valid. You can either kill the shield enemy before it can shield, which we do in file 4, or there, you can kill the enemy before the shield enemy can shield it. So, you know, both are generally hard, and it really depends on your positioning and the availability.
Time for horror game.
Hold your ground there. Get
Oh
in
gosh,
now.
run!
Go around
You know,
the promenade and get
There's
It
time
won't
for a
nation.
selfie at least.
You can
Yeah.
regroup from there.
There's always, with Ratyu, come on. With Ratyu, there's always time for a selfie.
Definitely. And then
Oh, yeah.
you can tank this with armor mode. And now for these doors, you can cycle all the way through arm as they are opening in order to just move faster, skip the animation.
Yeah.
So that's what we're gonna do here. Very good.
Yeah. There's actually a knockdown that can happen there, but he luckily was able to avoid that with the animations interrupting each other, which was very good. So normally in this cutscene, most runners at the mid-level are forced to basically watch the homunculus ravage through this area. However, what Raitu's gonna do is he's gonna do a very hard out of bounds trick to hopefully make the most of what would normally be an auto scroller. So in Astral Chain, there's a lot of quote-unquote auto-scrollers, but if you're Ratyu and you're good enough, you actually can do stuff during these auto-scrollers. In this case, he's going to do an infinite climb and go out of bounds to basically skip what would normally be a dialogue-limited section. So it's only an auto-scroller if you're not a god. Which, Ratyu, oh my goodness.
So
That was
going
so
around,
crisp.
going around because there's a fight that can be triggered, I believe. The center
Yeah.
there. And entering this garage that is supposed to be the part you enter after that through another door, meaning that there are no enemies here, meaning that you don't have to worry about a certain skip here to enter the elevator with a lot of enemies around. Very clean.
That skip was so clean that it even skipped other skips that we would have to do if you didn't do that skip. So really it was a skip. A skip of skips, if you will. So now we are going up and we're gonna do fighting a little bit more proto-legions, which is honestly a very hard fight, but Ratyu does it masterfully. And then Homunculus Gamma. I'm gonna give chat one guess of how we deal with Homunculus Gamma. It starts with an R and ends in an ound arrow. So I'll leave that to the chat to guess. This fight is actually very hard. Because
I think decided to face through the enemies, so that's very, very bad to start, yeah.
yeah. Also, Akira's breaking all the chain binds faster than we can do damage on them. Well, we're doing assault sinks, and that actually still was very serviceable.
Alright, Homunculus is gonna start as beta still. We can buff up, wait for the first attack. It's a laser, which is not ideal, but it's just a quick round arrow. It evolves, don't some armor, and you can just go between his feet.
Oh man. So for consistency, he's gonna chain bind the feet because that just keeps him in place, and then we round arrow, and oh my gosh, he is done. Woohoo!
It's very, very nice because if you let this enemy just do as he pleases. He's gonna go into the side of the building and take a while to be able to be killed. So being able to just burst it down like this is so nice.
Wow. As I'm sure chat couldn't guess, Round Arrow saved the day in a completely completely unpredictable outcome. Any case, so what, the next one is File 8, right? File 8 is really funny because if you're doing any percent, it's actually a relatively fast file. If you're doing all cases, which is another category in this game where you do all of the cases, which is not quite 100%, but still a much longer category, it is a very long file. There's a whole bunch of side quests that we skip.
We have a pretty long section until we get any action in that because it's all optional. So fit in some donations for sure.
Of course, we got a $50 donation from Max the NB that says, come on, y'all, we're so close to that Zip Glitch Showcase. We also have a $50 donation from Adam W that says, had to donate again to support Astral Chain. This is an incredible game with super deep systems, and it is amazing to watch Ratyu's mastery of it. Hard to explain how hard and cool everything he's doing is, but if you've played the game, you know. And if you haven't played it, you should. Thanks again to everyone at GDQ for another great event. And we have a $10 donation from Anonymous that says, thank you for some excellent selfies. And finally, we have a $500 from Anonymous with no message, but I can confirm Castlevania Harmony of Despair Zip Glitch Showcase has been met. We're going to get some more Castlevania and excellent selfies as we go there. Your next challenge, should you choose to accept it, Fashion Police Squad Challenge 3 is coming up at $1,198 out of the $5,000 required. Can you do it? But as always, thank you very much to everybody for your donations. Do, again, please keep them coming in. And I can't wait because we're coming up to some stuff later in this game that's amazing. And I'm really excited to see how you're going to handle the fights.
Oh, thank you, yeah.
Fights? Oh, sorry, spoiler.
Spoiler. Spoiler.
Listen, you're already fighting things. I didn't say whom you're fighting.
We're fighting Red Matter.
Yes,
right now,
yes, we'll go with that. The Astral plane.
Yeah, no. Well, so right now what we're doing is, so this is actually one of the more annoying things casually. So here you have to clean up 100% of the red matter. So this was a bit of fun routing when the game first came out and we were figuring out what the heck to do about this. So basically, in order to progress, there's a time limit up there. So you have to get all of the red matter in the time limit. Obviously, if you can't get all the red matter, you only have until the time expires, but obviously in the speedrun, it's faster for us to get all the red matter than obviously to wait for this very long 11-minute timer to expire. So that is basically what we are going to be concerned with for the most part. But routing how to actually collect every single little piece of red matter in this game is very hard. Red matter, of course, are these little, red little trinkets on the ground. So you can see that he's using Arm Legion mostly to dash into them, which is generally good fast movement and good red matter collection radius. But, this kind of thing can be very finicky, because even if you miss one piece of red matter, you have to go all the way back and find it. So you have to be very fast, but you also have to be very thorough. This is very much in the run can be known as a meme. You miss one thing of red matter and you lose 2 minutes looking for where you lost it.
Thankfully, you can know if you are on a good track because every single section is 4%, and so far Ratyu is getting everything based on that. And the important thing is that you want to finish this fast enough to hit the final portal for a final fight in under 9 minutes on the clock, because at 9 minutes, Akira starts talking about progress and stuff, and then you can't interact with the portal to actually enter it. Ratyu is in a really, really good place for that though, so that shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, this cleanup has been quite good. Alright, yep, we entered the portal with 45 seconds to spare. Yeah, that was not very, there was not a lot of worry that he was gonna not miss this. So coming up, there's a little bit of more Beast Legions, so I'm assuming we're gonna use the sword ability, yep, to get those mostly done. But the Beasts, as usual, do be running. Next, we have Blobs. I'm assuming that we're gonna deal with them in the same way, yep. These enemies are very annoying, but by using the various abilities that we've now collected, namely both the sword button and the assault sync, very good. Okay, that actually did a lot more damage than I realized. That was the arm assault sync.
Yep.
That was crazy.
And it's
I'm
under
done.
9 minutes total, which is amazing.
Insane, actually nuts.
He's
One
so,
might
so
say clean.
good. Very clean indeed. That was
Yes.
first half of Violet, which is kind of a meme. A lot of mini games that we
Yeah.
skipped. Now it's time
Yeah.
for second half, which is we get a signal from our dad or our dad's legatus, which is the thing the Legion is attached to, and
Yeah.
maybe he's here because he has been missing for the entire game. I don't think
Yeah.
we actually said that.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of small details in the lore that are hard to cover. So, this is a maze, but you actually can't take the direct route. You have to hit certain flags, otherwise you can't proceed. So, it looks kind of like we're going in circles, but we're actually taking the shortest possible route. You just have to go and hit certain flags along the way in order to progress. So, this is a little bit tricky to navigate. So arm dashing is faster than beast running, but it uses more meter. So we're trying to balance basically how much we arm dash and how much energy we have so that we don't run out. Because if you run out, then it's very slow. So you want to really balance those two things.
And coming up is probably the candidate for the most pastel playing in the entire run. We're gonna do
Yeah.
nothing, absolutely nothing here.
Yeah. There's this astral chain section is supposed to be very painful, but we really cut through a lot, which is nice.
You're gonna see just how good arm is for movement, as we're gonna skip most of it. There's one fight that you have to do to progress, and then supposedly you have to go and find a lot of switches for a very long section. But first off, there's this section here, just barely makes it with Beast, very nice.
I did not know you could do that. Or if I did, I had forgotten
Right.
at least. Oh my goodness.
To the left, there's a fight that you're supposed to do to go down here. Don't need that. Just activate the elevator to do exactly that.
And then
And
instead
the-
of going, oh yeah, no, go for it.
Don't worry. The fight is still there, but you can just whoop and skip it.
Yep. In a similar section, so when you walk up to get this switch, you will activate a puzzle. But it turns out if you just go to the side, like we did there, you never hit the trigger, and you actually can just bring this straight through. You're not actually supposed to be able to do this, but we actually just go sideways. And it turns out they did not make their trigger very big, so we will take advantage of that oversight.
You can still hit it, but it's so tiny. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Coming up to the fifth and final Legion, Axe. This fight can be
Axe.
quite tricky.
Axe Nemesis is a super
shield.
RNG. Yeah.
Axe has a
Oh.
shield around that you want to break, and it can be very annoying, like right now. But hey, this should work. And now assault until it decides to die.
Assault. Yeah, gun assault until it dies. But in general, also, it was kind of nuts. Yeah, this RNG. Oh, he didn't do the super spinny move. I thought he was going to do the super spinny move. This actually was somewhat serviceable. Yeah. So Axe is a little slow, but actually has a lot of really good damage that we will take advantage of in late game. We need to get another upgrade, which we will do in the file after next file, so not the next file. But there is going to be some really good stuff. File 9 is what we normally call the boss rush file, because there's actually basically a whole bunch of back-to-back stuff that we unlock doing that. In the meantime, of course, we got to upgrade our axe a little bit because it is going to be very meaty in the final stages of this game.
Yep. Axe is the highest DPS in the game, but you have to upgrade it in order for it to be kind of worth it. And also get a specific move that we don't have yet, but we'll get by the end of the game. And so we use this time to upgrade that and go into File 9, which is gonna be very intense. And so we can definitely get in some donations first in order to get ready for that.
All right, thank you. We have a $5.67 donation from Guilty Glitch, who's saying, for the skip. Okay, I'm lost. Keep going, you're the best. We have a $50 donation from Maelstrom that says, love and respect to everyone. And we all have a $10 donation from Shipsea Explorer, who says, this is my first time watching GDQ. Y'all are amazing. And y'all are amazing in chat, folks. Again, thank you very much for all your donations. Keep them coming in. Make this GDQ one of the best yet.
So we're coming up to Homunculus Gamma. I will give chat one guess on how we're going to try to quickly kill Homunculus Gamma. It starts with an R. I'll just leave it there. Chat will figure it out. They've gotten smarter over the course of this run. So that's a little bit of a preview. But then after that, we will be entering another Astral Chain section that I think is going to be very interesting because, like in File 5, it's one of the sections where you're going to try to stay above the ground, play a little bit of the floor is lava for a good chunk of the section, and you really don't want to fall down. So that's going to be an exciting thing. But first, we are going to see how well Ratyu can execute Homunculus Delta, the last of the homunculi.
Yeah, the upgrade this time is that it's really big. That's it.
It's huge.
Right, good attack to start. Very good attack.
Oh yeah.
Just wait for it to fall down and go nuts.
Who could have predicted this?
Oh no, he didn't kill it.
So you can't kill, you can only bring it to 1 HP, but as long as you bring it to 1 HP, you're doing okay. Because it's pretty fast out of this.
To just see him being so menacing and boom.
Also, who would Ratyu be if not taking selfies? A king.
Right. This astral plane is supposed to be important in that it teaches you to use the unique thing with Axe, which is placing down exploding swords. We're gonna do that once, I guess, because it's required, but other than that, Axe is gonna see no play here. Also, the shield that is supposed to be to have around that you can use to traverse some sections, we're not gonna do that because we're gonna get on top of the blocks right away. I've used this land here to put arm up there, and now look at that enemy to the left. Pay real close attention to it because we can just stand down to it, get a lot of height, and just skip right to the end.
Oh, we're out of energy. Oh, buddy. Also, I was just informed that Ratyu, when he was taking himself to Homunculus Delta, also in the player cam, looked to the camera and also gave a thumbs up. So the dude is an absolute legend, I want to say. Absolute character.
So that was a Tony Hawk. No time to explain it, but it's really cool. You get a lot of height from that ramp by using an assault with Axe, and then you just go to the end. And one last final escape, the original arm climb.
Astral Chain Pro Skater move,
That's just gonna send Axe here, or arm rather. Oh, didn't quite get it, but
so that's a hard one, yeah. You can sometimes go over the top of those blocks, but we can break them normally.
This is the homunculus tech. It has a shield around that you have to shoot down with some weak points. Using the aerial attack with gun, you have a splash damage capability that basically hits every single target except there, apparently. Never mind. Make it very easy to destroy the shield. And then you just
Now,
bust
of
it down.
course, because this is a homunculus egg, we deal with it like we would deal with most homunculus things, with round arrow. Again, completely unpredictable. Chat is shocked and confused, scared. No. So we are mostly done with the homunculi, but now we are going to do the Jenna Anderson gauntlet. So Jenna Anderson has kind of been a thorn in our side, putting all of these homunculi in our path for us to round arrow, but it's finally time for us to fight her a little bit. So we're gonna have to fight her 3 different times. So this is Jenna Anderson, round 1.
Not much to say other than you have to damage her as much as possible to start the dialogue, and then you have to wait for the actual dialogue.
Yeah. So this is where Jenna Anderson says a whole bunch of things that sounds very deep, but it's still, it's unsure what she means. But he's taking screenshots, he's taking selfies. Ratyu, the god. Ratyu not only is a super, I want to say, just give a shout out to him super quick. I mean, he's a super cool guy, right? He's super swaggy, he takes the selfies. But when I was relearning strats for this game, I mean, he was in my chat helping me learn some of these skips. You know, like he's actually like a very involved community member, even internationally. I mean, he's just so good at wanting to be there for the people who are learning this game. So he actually is just he's a champ, and so I think he deserves a shout out, just not only as like a runner at this GDQ, but also as like the world record holder and like as a community member in this game. I mean, he's very good. I mean, just in holistically as sort of a member of the speedrunning community.
Anyway, we are back on the bike. This time for real, we can send Legion as well. But this is not as much of another scholar. There's a few encounters that you have to clear, but it's not gonna be visually interesting at all. We have a bunch of time for donations here.
Yeah.
All right. We got a $25 donation from Sophie, who says, always a highlight with GDQ. Thanks to all the amazing runners, commentators, hosts, and crew. We also have a $25 donation from Zekrosis that says, been watching for years. Here's to many, many more indeed. And we also have a $10 donation from Cola Canis that says, thank you all for your hard work running this event. AGDQ is such a hype way to start the year. I'm donating again now because those Pokemon prints are adorable. And they are, of course, referring to some of the prizes that we have open right now. $10 donation will get you into the Pokemon prints that we have. Goldeen and Sea King print. And we also have the Sleepy Sheep print there as well. You can check them out, find them on the Games Done Quick website that can be found below the stream. Do get your donations in for that, not only helping PCF, but getting yourself some cool prizes and seeing some cool speedruns. What's not to like, you know?
Excellent. Yeah, thanks. Coming up, we will have Cryus, though. So first, there's this section, which you can basically manipulate it into only shooting debris if you stand behind it, and you can get backstab damage. But once we eliminate this, this is Briareos, so once we eliminate this guy, we will then face Cryus, which can be an interesting fight. It's one of those fights where it looks very easy, but actually maximizing your damage on Cryus to avoid, you know, a mega laser at the end is actually sometimes very difficult. So it'll be interesting to see it coming up here. But yes, we just have to wait for, you know, 10 more seconds of dialogue because they gotta make it to the Union building. This is actually not dialogue limited though. You can actually tell how fast you are by where this shows up relative to the dialogue. So Cryus is here and it's time to party. Also, I just want to say, the Astral Chain, the cutscene introductions to enemies is so sick. This is the only one that you can't skip. You actually get to see, you know, the Legatus voice say Cryus, and it has the whole intro. A lot of that stuff is super cool and super well done, like, cinematically in this game. We just have to skip all of it, because speedrunning. So
So
he's...
it's another
Yeah.
It's gonna be a very Platinum game, I want to say. The enemy
Yeah.
interactions, every single name, the huge cutscene. Thankfully, most of it can be skipped, so
For
we
sure.
don't have to worry about it.
He's gonna beat the Mega Laser. Nice. Yeah, so he summons a laser at low HP that does a lot of damage, and we just straight up dodged it, which is nice.
Jenna too.
So now it's time for Jenna 2. A little bit RNG heavy, but if Jenna does not do a weird move, we should be good. I think that this opener has almost guaranteed that good stuff has happened.
Yep. You want to
Arm-
chain bind Jenna right away, and if you send any legion to her, that was extremely fast. If
That
you
was,
send
it was, yeah.
if you send the legion to her in the air, you can either get a chain bind right there and there, or get unlucky and you have to throw her down, losing just a little bit of time. That was just masterful.
Axe killed Jenna so fast that her model froze. she was not ready to leave. She was like, I didn't know we had to go. We quickly have to deal with a little bit of spawn proto-legions, and then we can get on to Jenna 3, who becomes this gigantic, Akira-like... Akira's in the anime, not in your teammate. Akira-like being, she's become somehow all-powerful. But she still, at her core, is a homunculus. So chat, I leave it to you to think about how we are going to deal with this enemy, considering that she is of the homunculus variety.
Ooh, almost got trolled there. That was the
Yeah,
item.
the ice move control.
Really good move for a fast fight.
Oh, really good. Yeah, she put her arms down, which is very good.
You can just look at the health right now and see
Yeah.
just how fast this has gone.
Round arrow, too good. Someone ban this man. He's going too fast.
And now for the anime finisher.
Legion! Oh, you gotta love it. This game gets so much more fun if you, this game is so fun when you really buy into all of the fun little things. I will say, this has already been said in Donos, but if you haven't played this game, I know it's on a lot of people's backlogs. I mean, I would recommend it for a 4-year-old game. It looks gorgeous on the Switch. There's actually so much different kinds of gameplay. I mean, the speedrun is one way of playing it, but there's just so much content, and it's so fun and it's so different. And I feel like, for me, I always value games that are different, because this is definitely very fun and unique in its own way. And so I think I definitely am glad that, I mean, obviously I'm part of the speedrunning community, but just being able to appreciate this game is a lot of fun. Also, it is faster just to have your player just beat up your sibling, which is kind of messed up, but the things that we do for speed sometimes.
I think someone made some kind of estimation, and if you do it perfectly, if you shake those sticks super fast, maybe you can save a few frames. Not worth it. Just let your brother or sister get beat up. Plot happened, by the way. Now we are a traitor. Very cool. And now our sister is the main force of Neuron with a new, completely out of nowhere officer group, let's call it that, called the Ravens, which dress in black and red, just like her. So, yeah. We are cast out. We are in what's supposed to be Hal's place. But Hal is not here, he's just a hologram, as you can see. And we're just gonna go around the neighborhood, solving some problems until we can continue. Not before actually upgrading to get the last command that we can get from upgrading. It's spin. Spin is gonna be very important for the rest of the run. We haven't used it until now, same with Axe to a degree. A spin with Axe is absolutely broken, and you will see it right away.
I think something that this run that's very cool is that, like, the meta now actually is constantly evolving. Like, the 360 spin with Axe is basically a super good combat option that we basically get in the last like 20 minutes of the speed run, right? Like like you're not just doing the same attack options for the entire run. Like what you do and what becomes optimal evolves as the game progresses, which I think makes it a really interesting dynamic run. Speaking of which, so we're used to round arrow. Here's round axe. Welcome. So
a different kind of thing to win. So the thing about Axe's things is that when it hits something, it places a mini exploding sword in any enemy that gets hit by that, and that explodes for more damage and can hit other enemies as well. So for small groups of enemies that you can just hit with that, it stacks damage very, very fast and clears everything super quick.
Yeah, it's very good.
In this part, you just need to finish any 2 cases, and that unlocks this part. This is essentially an auto scholar. You prepare this and try to defend yourself, so nothing of note is gonna happen. We can sneak in 1 or 2 donations for sure.
Of course, we got a $25 donation from Slappy Wiggle that says, runners go brr, cancer go arr. As someone who has suffered from illness his whole life, I can tell you that early detection is key. Shout out to everyone involved in supporting this amazing charity. And also just a wee update there about the Fashion and Police Squad Challenge. What that is the challenge for the runner to play through the hardest level of Fashion Police Squad, known as Challenge 3. So if you want to see more top tier gameplay, please do keep your donations coming in.
What's better than sci-fi Astral Police? Clearly, Fashion Police. That's all you need to know. There, Ratyu just did a finisher, I'm assuming for swag points. So you can see that really cool finishing animation. It looks cool. It is, in fact, quite slow. But, I think it's good to show it off just for a little bit, just because, for the fans. Next, we're going to come up on some worms. Worms are kind of annoying because they can go under the ground, and you can't kill them under the ground. Luckily, we use the power of grabbing things and the power of Axe Go Burr to hopefully make these worms not too much of a problem. We will see. It's important to start an arm on this fight, because you're going to grab one of the... You're going to rush, and arm is going to snatch one of the arms. And that is going to be a strat originally invented by the young god Swift Shadow back in the day. Old world record holder. No! The arm decided not to grab, which is cringe.
Sometimes it just decides to not grab. There's some inconsistencies like that, but it's not super common. Whatever. We can still finish these two very fast.
Yeah, it's fine. Axe Go Burr, as we just saw. So the worst case scenario isn't too bad. Even when arm posts cringe, Axe still cleans up.
Okay, that's it for this part. There's a lot of optional missions here that you may want to do, but if you finish these 2 detector things, then the plot progresses, and you learn that you want to go to the sewers where guards are, and apparently our friend Brenda is also there. So it's gonna be the second stealth section in the game, and stealth is kind of an overstatement.
The guys are really bad at seeing you. I do want to say that unlike the last time though, stealth is not optional. If you do get found for some reason, which is unlikely but is possible, you have to start from the beginning. So this is a little bit more punishing, but luckily the guys are really bad at seeing you. So you can kind of sneak past and they're like, oh, something's going on over there, but for some reason they don't really notice you, at least not fast enough. Careful, there's one of them at the top of that ladder. Also, note that his red matter collection was actually done very intentionally to keep the Legion meter out. And then he puts the Legion away to refill the meter at the right moment.
Shoutouts to this final guard here. We love him. He's doing his best. No, why? No, the same strat. No, my meme.
The same strat.
My meme.
Oh, the meme. Okay, so to explain the meme, it's because he set something up. So that guard can actually see you, and you can fail the mission, but you can hit the trigger, the cutscene trigger, before the game realizes that you failed the mission. So even if you get spotted, you actually can still finish the mission, which goes against the thing I said earlier. But but if you accidentally miss the trigger, then you do have to start from the beginning. So I think Ratyu is just being a homie and doing the safe strat. This is a weird out of bounds. This is one of the weirder out of bounds ones. Nope. There it is. Yep. This is one of the weirder out of bounds movements that he has to do. You can basically skip 2 fights, but you're kind of standing on like stuff where the ground is a little bit weird and undefined. So it sometimes can be a little bit finicky.
There's 2 fights here. By skipping the first one, there's no fight here, and that allows you to just climb over the invisible barrier and continue through onto the boss of this part, Kronos. It's gonna have a pretty fun skip as well. There's a set of stairs here. You can clip to the left of them and fall down faster, but that also makes it so a cutscene here that involves these guards around here, they block your path. If you just go advance like we did, that never happens unless you stop and think for some reason. So you can just skip right to the end to this guy. Break the shield like that.
So this is Kronos, but luckily for us, Axe Legion, go Burr. Which, by the way, also, one thing I like about Axe Legion 2 is the fights look so pretty when you're doing them with the Axe Legion as well. A lot of the fight combat stuff, like, one thing that I think is really cool is in some speedruns, especially in some action game speedruns, like, you know, you find the broken thing and you spam it, which, guilty, right? Like, we do that too with Round Arrow and with a lot of the Axe stuff, but, the combat in this game always looks so fluid that I like it because it looks very natural, and it still makes it very interactive and fun to watch. We're going to come up on a little bit more donos, because this is a funny section where you're doing 3 fights. The problem is all 3 of them are scripted until the very end. So we actually have a little bit of downtime here, so we should maybe take advantage of it with donos.
All right, top very much. We got plenty coming in here. We're going to start off with a big one, $500 donation from Introverted Ace that says, this Astral Chain run is super impressive. And I agree, and I'm sure chat agrees as well. Thank you for your donation there. We also have a massive $200 donation coming in from The Raspberry that says, much love, guys. And we have Cyberbox X coming in with $50 saying, so looking forward to the upcoming Castlevania block while I am watching from work. Best of luck to the runners. Put this to challenge 3 in the Fashion Police squad. And while we're watching the screen, yep, screenshots there, yep. I see the cameras mirroring the game action there. I have a question. You know how you were saying that the legions are invisible and only those who are wearing the outfits can see them?
Yeah.
See, when you bind someone, are the chains invisible as well?
I would imagine so. There's a lot of questions.
So someone just suddenly falls down going, can't move.
Yeah, pretty much. I assume so. I also want to point out, Ratyu is a legend, right? Like, how can guys like watching this guy play? How can you not love this guy?
I very much do. I very much do. Like, make sure you follow the runners here. Like, you want to see more of this? This is how you get more of this. Follow these runners. You get to see cool stuff. This is what you want, right?
If you aren't following Ratyu at MooRatyu201, I'm sure his socials are posted somewhere. Yeah, if you're not following him on Twitch, you are missing out. This dude is so fun. I think there's just a lot of really cool stuff that he does. I mean, it's just there's like, you know, he's funny and he knows how to put on a show, and I'm really glad. That's why I was really excited when GDQ was here, because I know. Not just because I wanted an Astral Chain, but because I knew that Ratyu would kill it. He's such, yeah.
There's 2 other people killing it here as well. And we've got a $5 donation from Aka that says, first time donating and excited for the Outer Wilds run, but I have to donate during Astral Chain to give a shout out to Mr. Herreteman on commentary though, because you are doing a great job. Keep it up. And Cap, you are also killing it on commentary as well. This is an amazing run.
Got the same cells as the
Aw,
legion
thanks,
floating
guys.
around in your bloodstream now.
I've never seen this picture. That's a good one.
You can do a lot of memes here.
What?
Go out of bounds
Yeah.
or whatever you want.
On
This is
Lord
also
updates.
a pretty good best
By the way,
Fully controlled.
that's our sister, fused with her legion, and she's ready to destroy us, except kind of a difficult thing when there's an invisible barrier.
But I do know that Akira's gonna
Yeah,
kill us all.
the AI is freaking out right now, which is pretty helpful as well.
It's all up to
Alright,
you, my friend.
time to beat her ass.
Time for the fight, actually. So now this is no longer in the scripted section. Honestly, some people are like, wow, there's a couple auto scrollers. When a game is like above 2 hours, I actually like when there's a little bit of auto scrollers because it gives me time to rest my hands and think about the next moves. You know, there's a couple in this game, but you know, there's the bathroom break that we saw Ratyu go on during Kyle, the hydration break. You can get hydrated here for sure. It's a great time to get hydrated, you know. So I actually, you know, a hot take is I sometimes appreciate having a time lossless break sometimes in the longer runs. You know, it's good to be able to get water, for sure.
Hey, we are going into file 11, the last file in the entire game.
Home
With
stretch,
Fusion, Fusion now unlocked, which is what we just saw in the fight. We can use it, and it's very, very strong. It basically clears any fight that we want. And you can recharge it by using sync attacks in general. And all those strats use two fusions actually, one for the final boss and one for another fight. And then you would just spam attacks during some sections in order to try to get it back. Modern strats are just gonna use it once, but just keep it in mind. There used to be a time where we just attack nothing for like 5 minutes.
All right, Olive. Lead the way.
Yeah.
It's
There is
too quiet.
yeah, no, this home stretch is definitely very, very, very cool. Astral Chain also, I think, definitely lives up to the hype where
What on earth is Yosef working
where like the last boss, you know, Noah Prime, which is the final boss in this game. I mean, it's hard actually getting the fast cycle. You know, like, because if you don't do enough damage, it's really easy for a lot of things to go wrong. And so I think you definitely have a very, very, very good flourish of a finale in this speedrun. So it's going to be very exciting to watch Ratyu execute that.
Akira.
File 11 is quite a gauntlet of things and stuff. And we're gonna start it right here by exiting this. Roll out of the elevator in order to go faster through the one single door
Out of the elevator.
that's keeping us from the next section.
Yep.
Never mind, there's two.
There's two, but there's but yeah, you roll out of the door. So we do that a couple times. Yeah, we're rolling out instantly, basically avoids a certain movement trigger that prevents you from running.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
We learned earlier that the ravens are actually clones from our sister, and we're gonna fight a lot of them here. They don't have legions, but they can easily stunlock you, so what you want to do is Black Hole Glitch, and then get ready for Spin to Win.
Spin
How
time.
many of them are there? They're all
Yeah. So
When you-
black. Yeah.
I have to say, when you group every single enemy like that, the exploding swords from Max can explode and hit every single one of them, so it becomes a vortex of absolute doom.
Yeah.
It's a really, really good combo.
This is the vortex, as it were. And those are the clones. Alright. So yeah, so this being the final chapter, you know, we only have a couple fights left. And we're looking pretty good. So we're gonna basically do the same thing here, essentially. We're gonna fight a couple aberrations, but unfortunately, compared to everything else we've done, they're gonna be no match for the mighty axe.
Akira was right.
So we have black hole and 360.
Very good.
Can't stop the power. Next, we have to still chase our sister since she's running off. So we're gonna do that now. Quickly hit a trigger with arrow. Next is arc. Arc actually can be a somewhat tricky enemy if he gets an attack out, but luckily you can be very clever and get a chain bind and then do nice axe things. So that's going to be what we're going to do here. Yes, you want to get the chain bind. You want to get the chain bind.
Alright, it worked. I'm back against the wall. Oh, back. Actually, on the wall, I guess. So it's
Yeah.
perfect for some extra damage.
Yeah, that was actually really good. That worked out better than I thought it was going to, if I'm going to be honest. But he did it. This section will try to spawn walls in front of you, but if you're fast, you can actually beat the walls that try to spawn. We'll see what he does here. Come on! Yes!
Nice.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, this is supposed to be a station where you are supposed to use every single Legion in conjunction. That was Axe's part. Even the game tells you, whoa, it looks like we need Axe, but you can just tank the first hit and then continue with Arm and go into Hall of Terrors. This is a very scary part. If you get hit, you get sent to the start, and the hitboxes are very generous. You're gonna see that it closes in on us, but as long as Ratyu holds back and doesn't get hit by anything else, this should be fine. Yes, very nice.
Quick! Use the Arm Legion to get it open before we're stuck!
So next is the Ravens. This fight is notoriously kind of annoying. In the past, we used to use the Resonance for this, but instead of using Legion Fusion, the Black Hole Glitch plus Axe has made this fight a little bit easier, but the Ravens can still definitely do a lot of stun locking nonsense. They can dodge a lot of things and do a lot of nonsense. It seems like we've missed 2, which is annoying, and yeah.
But that's the reason Ratyu used one of the Mega Milk to get that super armor in order to not get stun
Yeah.
locked, which is the best possible strat for this by far.
It's so good that you want to use the Megabyte Milk, which doesn't buff your damage, because you want the armor buff more than you want the damage buff.
Right. And final shopping trip.
Yep, gotta get all the power up for the last. So this is the final gauntlet. So there's this is the famous elevator. However, being stuck in a small room with me, well, sorry, not with me, with Ratyu rather. It's a bad recipe, because they're right where we want them. Because a small room means a lot of damage.
And Ratyu's gonna try to hit first this wave of flying enemies, annoying of course, but then everything is gonna spawn in the same place, so you can very easily spawn camp them. In this case with a bind, and then start the spin to win. Not the correct Legion, but still good enough.
Oh, yeah. So basically, your assault commands change based on what Legion you have. So if you're accidentally on the wrong Legion, it can make things complicated. Luckily, not complicated enough. The backup was very good.
And watch out for ice limes.
Yep, these enemies can be very annoying if you let them get an attack out.
Right, and finally a normal fight, quote unquote, against Scylla.
Yeah.
The boss of the
So it's not
elevator.
too bad. The paradigm of bind into win is still very much real.
There we
Nice.
go. Now we can go into the last final gauntlet of fights to end the
Yep.
run. Starting with the final fight,
Akira.
1-on-1 against Akira, which is comedically easy because you can just chain jump. Pew!
I thought I could finally take
So yeah,
her?
you can stun her, bind her, and then
It's not like yours. I'm just
take her down. Yeah.
one of Yosef's
So basically, you want to get as much damage to quickly lower the threshold so that you can make sure she doesn't get an attack out. Nice. And
Alright, time
then,
for
while you're
fusion.
still powered up, yeah, time for fusion, baby. This fight is miserable. So luckily, we do the Legion fusion and we just eliminate all of the Nemesis Legions back to back.
Did you make them?
Nice black hole, dude. Alright. Actually, it turns out that the fusion kind of ignored it, which is very convenient. Oh, this fight used to be miserable, but we figured out a way to route. We figured out a way of routing in getting this fusion for this fight, and it has made it very trivial, which is super nice.
Time for a transition that makes no sense. Hey,
Yep.
that's our boss, Joseph, who is now, well, we're in the arc, so it's Noah, the final boss of the arc.
Noah, Soul of Ambition, which also has an great intro that of course we skip because it's a long intro. But yes, this is Noah. He's big, so we run. Which is the other thing that starts with R. However, there's some interesting things that we're doing. Do you want to talk about what we're doing here, Parrot?
Oh yeah. So this first phase of Noah is essentially 4 back-to-back platforming sections. It turns out that only the fourth one is required. The rest you can skip by just voiding out. Sometimes you have to wait for a little bit, like there, or else it doesn't work. And then lasers, and the fourth one you actually have to clear. Usually you would think, oh, platforming means chain jumping. As it turns out, it's very subtle, but it's very noticeable in this fight in particular. When you chain jump, it slows down the wall for just a little bit, making it so you lose time for every chain jump in places like this. So what we want to do is very tricky arm dashes to do that. This one to the back can be annoying, so you just chain jump and you'll see the slowdown. And now everything here looks very scary, but believe me, it works. Ratyu's not gonna fall down.
Just don't fall. So next after this is gonna be Noah Core. So we go inside Noah, which is less traumatizing than it sounds. Yeah, here we go. And then we have to beat the core. Luckily, we can basically make the core skip a cycle because our damage output go crazy. And then we will, and then finally, the final boss will be Noah Prime after the core. But first, we gotta see Ratyu bust the core a little bit.
This is a very simple fight. It's damage gated, as Kap was saying. If you don't damage him enough, he's gonna put up a shield, and it takes a while to dispel the shield. But thankfully, we don't have to worry about that. Easy
That
fight.
was a fast core. Hot dang. Okay, with the core done, it is time for Noah Prime. Because what's more dangerous than a giant Noah? It's a humanoid-sized Noah for some reason. Don't worry about it. Noah Prime is definitely a challenging boss fight, even on casual. But Ratyu has gotten him down to a science. So let's watch him cook.
First, counter an attack with this. It's a thing that you can do. That stuns him, and now set up. Owl to extend the stun. And now it's time to spin and try to get as many backstabs as possible. We want about 45 to 40% health for phase 2. If you do it
You want to push him. It's gonna be close.
it's gonna be perfect.
Oh.
Nice sword, by the way.
Yeah, nice bump, man. That was super close, but that did it.
Alright, and here, depending on what Noah does, if we see a fast stomp, unfortunately, if we don't see it, there we go. Which means we have to wait for him to go up, howl, and now hopefully kill it in one cycle, because if not, the fight gets really hairy.
Really long. Yeah, the fight you gotta beat him before he gets too tricky. It looks like we're good though.
And there we go. Call up the
Everyone
whole
enjoy this.
squad.
And everyone enjoy this fun little cinematic. Time is in about 50 seconds. I love this section. I don't know. Platinum Games, when it comes to showmanship, you can't go wrong. What a nice fight. Great job, Ratyu.
And what a nice run in general. Right. Time is gonna be after this final section where we walk to Noah and our sister holding him down, and we choose an ending which doesn't really make any difference. But once
Upon
we
dialogue
choose
selection
that-
time, yeah. Upon dialogue selection, time ends. So wait for it. Wait for it. Wait.
time.
Yeah.
GG.
GG's. What an amazing run. Wow, and
Thank you for
230.
GG.
for mid. That is an insanely good time. That is third place on the leaderboards. Is that second place on the leaderboards? At a
Maybe?
GDQ? It's close. That's like top.
Oh,
That's like-
just shy of Kure.
It's
3 seconds
literally- Okay, guys, this literally matched the second place run at a GDQ. What an amazing showcase for Astral Chain. An absolute legend, Ratyu is.
If it might be like quite a while, it's so damn good.
Insane. What
It is.
an absolute showman.
It is absolutely amazing performance, amazing commentary. Right, you want to do some final sign-offs here?
Ratyu wanted to say some things.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll let him know that he's good to say something.
I was
Yeah.
very
Yeah,
nervous,
sorry.
but had a great time learning
Sorry,
it.
1 second.
I guess
This
while we
game
wait,
is
shout outs to the entire
very
Astral
cool.
Chain community.
And
We've been looking for a showcase
easy
like
to
this
play.
for many years.
If you are
So I want to shout
interested
everyone out.
in
I also said
this
Mariana
game,
Kure and Ratyu,
please
the
buy
Japanese runners at top level.
and
Osako,
play it.
Hank, Luca as well. Shout out to Shem, my not really you anymore because United Kingdom, whatever, it's really strange. Shout out to Swift Shadow, the GOAT as well.
Yeah.
I'm missing someone probably. Leon. Leon is such a nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeast,
Leon's great.
Nitty, Shino. There's so many cool guys on the Discord that are ready to
Wait.
help you
Sorry,
learn this
is
game if you
Ratyu
want.
muted? Sorry.
Not anymore.
Oh, good.
Hi, Ratyu.
Alright.
No.
And I was very nervous, but had a great time learning it. This game is very cool and easy to play. If you are interested in this game, please buy and play it. You can also purchase it with Nintendo Switch game vouchers. Thank you very much for watching.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ratyu, for the amazing run.
Incredible. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's absolutely amazing. I think we are gonna switch over now. Again, thank you to you all for this amazing Astral Chain run. And yeah, just make sure you follow those runners, folks. All right, so we've got ourselves a quick donation here. We got a $25 donation from Alex and Sarah saying, we look forward to AGDQ every year and love supporting a good cause. And when you get performances like that, you cannot help but be amazed and just enjoy weeks like this. So after that, 2 hours and 40 minutes of action, we're going to go and use this time, stand up, stretch your legs, get hydrated, take care of yourselves. We'll be right back after this. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to AGDQ 2023, powered by Twitch. We are setting up for the block that is cursed. What a terrible time for a curse. Or is it? No, it's not. It's the Castlevania block. It's going to be great. We are looking forward to these runs, aren't we? I know a lot of you are. We have got the donations all coming in here. We got a $50 donation from a trainer, Anaday, that says, let's go fast, raise money for a great cause, and stay cute. Stay cute, chat. We also got a $50 donation from Maverick that says, less than 3. And with that, though, it is going to be the end of my hosting shift. So I am going to be passing the mic over to the one, the only, the Kyle Thomas. But before that, we've got a prize segment. What prizes do we have available? Let's have a look.
Hello, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed that fantastic Astral Chain speedrun we just had. You're watching Awesome Games Done Quick 2023. And yes, I have some amazing prizes to talk about. Just want to say right off the bat, if you want to put in a $25 donation from now until the end of Fashion Police Squad, you will be entered in to win everything that I'm about to show you in this prize block. And if you put in a $50 donation by the end of the day, we have a super special prize that I will be talking to you about. So you want to make sure you get your donations in, and you can check out all of the prizes we have available at gamesdonequick.com. Click on the prize tab, and you can see all of the amazing work that the community has donated for this event. So let's get started. We have a few Kirby runs in the marathon, and so we have this beautiful Meta Knight glitter keychain. You know, Kirby Air Ride is one of my favorite games of my childhood, and Meta Knight is a fan favorite, and I absolutely love keychains, especially this one, and the detail on this, the colors, absolutely love it. $5 minimum donation. Thank you so much, Vats of Goop, for sending that out to us. We have a few Pokemon prints that you can see pictures of on the website and on the screen shortly. We have a Goldeen and Seaking print that is a $10 minimum donation. I absolutely love them. You know, in the water, you can see the styling of both the Goldeen and the Seaking, and it's so pretty. And then also we have a Sleepy Sheep print featuring one of my favorite Pokemon lines, the Mareep line. And that is a $5 minimum donation. Both of those donated, made for us by Ness Paints. Thank you so much for sending those to us. All right, we have some amazing Perler art that we've been seeing throughout the entire marathon. Pearl Pop just does such an amazing job. So to start off, I want to show you all the, I think it is a boat from Final Fantasy. I'm getting word that it is actually going to be Alucard from Castlevania. Okay, I guess that makes sense why it came in a set of 3 along with Richter and Maria here. That makes a lot more sense. You can get this set of 3 Perlers. That is a $15 minimum donation. Thank you so much, Pearl Pop, for sending these 3 out to us. And I know everyone is so excited for Castlevania block coming up shortly. Speaking of Pokemon, we have the Kanto starters. We've got my favorite here, Bulbasaur. We have Squirtle. I'll get him going the right way here. And Charmander, of course. This set of 3, all of these are very large Perlers, extremely high quality. $20 minimum donation gets you the full set of 3. Thank you again, Pearl Pop, for all of the Perlers you've donated throughout this event. We have 2 absolutely gorgeous handmade prizes I want to talk about here. We have this Triforce and Silent Princess pendant. On the front, it has, of course, the Triforce with the flowers around it with the gems, absolutely stunning. And on the back, it does have AGDQ 2023 on there, so you know exactly what event it came from. I love this pendant. It is such a nice size for anyone who is a Legend of Zelda fan. So that is thank you so much. $25 minimum donation. Catherine of Spirit Eclipse Studio, I really appreciate the work and detail that you put into this. All right, I've been teasing about the $50 day prize that you really want to get your donations in now. It is celebrating one of the runs we have later on in the marathon, the Super Mario Galaxy 2 race that I am so excited for. Now, we have this absolutely beautiful quilt. I just love the, what it's showing off here. We've got the Luma, the house, Mario flying away. $50 minimum donation. You have to get that in now until the end of Nightmare of Decay. Thank you so much, Crystal Megod, for sending this out to us. It is absolutely beautiful. The detail, the artwork, it has like little sparkles in it when I shimmer it like this from the Luma. So $50 minimum donation. And When you get your donations in, you can put them towards so many incredible incentives we have coming up. We have an Outer Wilds DLC run that you want to see an extra thing for on that. We, of course, have the bonus game, but there's also a variety of other bid wars that you can put your donations towards. Just go to gamesdonequick.com and go to the tracker and see everything that you can put your donations towards. And when you donate, you're putting all of that towards our cumulative grand prizes. If you get $200 by the end of the marathon, you'll be entered into all three of our fantastic grand prizes. We have a PC from Skytech Gaming. It is absolutely stunning. All of the specs can be seen on the website as well if you're curious about the exact details of what that PC will be. We have the Fallout laser rifle, which is just... I'm so excited for us to showcase that later on. When we brought it in, everyone in the studio was just in awe of the detail. It is absolutely beautiful. Volpin Props and Cute Monster Props did an amazing job with this prop, and thank you for donating that to us for the marathon. And of course, our friends at Heroic Replicas are offering a Hylian shield and a choice of replica. Shown there on the screen, we have the Hylian sword, or we have the Master Sword, of course, but there's also up to 15 different choices from some of our favorite games. So check out all of that, GamesDoneQuick.com. Get your donations in now. Thank you all so much for watching, hanging out, being with us in the chat, at home, wherever you're watching, and stay tuned for some incredible speedruns like the Castlevania block we have coming right up.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Awesome Games Done Quick 2023 online, powered by Twitch. I am the Kyle Thomas, and I am so thrilled to be here with you this morning. It's this morning for me, wherever it is for you. I hope you're having a wonderful day, watching all of these wonderful streams, watching these games that mean so much to us be absolutely destroyed in front of our eyes. We have got so much great stuff coming up, including a couple Castlevania games, and you and your generosity have already unlocked all of our showcases and bonuses, incentives for those. So thank you so much for your generosity this morning. We had a lot of love come in during the last run. I want to get to some of it here, but I've got to give some props here to Solja, who gave $50, and they're doing my job for me. They say, hey, chat, did you know that if you have Amazon Prime, you get a free Twitch Prime subscription each month? No, you didn't? Well, now that you do, go down below the video and hit that subscribe button with your free Twitch Prime to help support this amazing charity. Thank you to all the runners, commentators, and everyone behind